As Sally Fitz would say, stick it up your ass.
Libido, bedo. Oh, babe, I said pop it now.
Squirt, squirt.
Yeah. I said libido, bedo. Oh, baby, I said let's pop some now. A fine little pill from old Norway can help your sex. That's what they say. From the egg of a chicken that goes cluck cluck. No yolk, it's a pill that really makes you pluck. Libido, bedo. Oh, baby, I said away I go. Yeah. I said libido, bedo. Oh, baby, I said let's pop it now. Every night at 10, you lay like a hen. Take a pill, then do it again. Like a Spanish flying aphrodisiac. And you get used to feathers in the sack. Libido, bedo. Oh, baby, I said pop it now. Yeah. I said libido, bedo. Oh, baby, I said let's pop some now. Okay, let's give it to them right now.
10:08 at WIOD. Happy Tuesday to you. I am absolutely incoherent, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, and I've told you this before, sugar kills. Sugar kills. I'm going to ban sugar from my house, okay? The next time I find any product that has sugar in that house, inside the household, there's going to be a gigantic bonfire. I come in this morning, I go down, of course, we don't have any water. You notice how since this sale thing has been announced, everything is like falling apart. Have you noticed that? I can't even get my goddamn Italian program for my computer. How do you like that? And Evan, if you were any kind of a friend, you'd be over here with it right now, okay? I'll be more than glad to pay for it. I'll be more than happy to give you like a tip for delivering it. I want it now. I go into 2 computer joints yesterday. They got programs for Spanish. I don't want to learn no Espanol, okay? I know Mama la Piña Colada. I know all that crap. And, by the way, we just had a new sponsor come in. I met, you know what his name was? Marty Cohen. Speaking of Espanol. Seriously. So, anyway, so they got French and they got German and they even got Japanese. Okay, now who in their right mind, how could you possibly learn to speak Japanese?
It takes a long time.
Can you imagine that? I mean, one thing about, if you got a half a brain, like Italian, I can read it. I can read it and actually make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. Because it's not all that hard once you start, with the Z's and the different letters that are prevalent. You can read it. I haven't got any idea what most of it means. But Japanese, you can't even read it, much less speak it. How the hell could anybody who's like an American learn Japanese?
You better do it quick, though.
Yeah, right. Like right now. While you're sitting there watching your Sony. But, so I would have thought that Italian program would be very commonplace, okay? And I got to come on here today and beg about that. We got no water anymore because we've fallen through the cracks on that. So I come in this morning and I go out of the machine, Diet Coke sold out. So I punch up the Lipton iced tea, since in that particular machine there's nothing else that I would even think of touching, assuming, of course, that this has either got NutraSweet or it's got, just plain, right? My head is pounding like on the like somebody's got an anvil inside my head and is just banging away from the inside out. This thing, this one little can, it's the size of your ordinary soda can, a Coke can. I look on the label now that I've sat here and drank the damn thing, and my head is just shrieking. Total carbohydrate, 33 grams. How do you like that? I look on a list of ingredients: water, high fructose corn syrup, syrup and or sugar, instant headache pill. I mean, this stuff, seriously, it's a killer. And the government is worried about our health? They're worried about smoking cigarettes and stuff? Give me a stinking break. So I rest my case on that. So what are we going to do about the water? See, we better start grabbing a whole bunch of stuff for free in the next few days. Yes, Sal. Come on, Sal. I'm going to have to go out there and buy a whole bunch of that San Pellegrino. You know, I like that water. It's pretty damn good. I really do. I love that. Plus, they, everywhere you go in Italy, they got that. They've also got a bunch of other stuff that you can't buy here. Different brand names, they're like really good stuff. But, man, sugar, I'm going to tell you. And so, anyway, the Oprah thing, I was taking a nap one day last week, and probably was one of the days after we had our big announcement here, which I'm going to be taking a lot of naps. I can see that, mostly between 10 and 2. And the phone rings, and it's the fat man. It's Fat Rich. If it's not Rimmer, it's the fat man. Every time my head is on the pillow, every time I think I'm going to get just a little bit of a rest, there's that goddamn phone again. I can understand if the phone rings, it's something worthwhile, something you might want to, hear about. Oh, Oprah's got Dr. Atkins on. I thought you might want to know. Why do I want to know that? I wouldn't watch that fat cow Oprah if you paid me by the second. Why the hell would I watch that? First of all, talk about getting a headache. Just watching the pastel backgrounds on that show, that alone. Forget about the fact she's on there looking like the Bossy the cow. Forget about that. But just looking at those silly pastel backgrounds, that's supposed to put you in the right mood for all the syrup that they give you on that show. And evidently, and maybe we got some listeners out there that saw that, she had some stupid nutritionist bitch on there reaming Dr. Atkins out, and Oprah and the audience joined in trying to assassinate the man on the air and say that he's full of crap, which thousands of us know that he's not. And I'm telling you right here that if the government cared about your health, they'd be doing something about this, especially all this baloney about low fat. Low fat. Take your low fat and stuff it. Sugar and starch carbohydrates are killers. And anybody who denies that, including that bitch Oprah, should be shot right on the spot, right there on national TV. Dr. Atkins should have pulled out a piece, just like Brad Pitt did in 7. He should have held it on an angle like this, and then said, okay, I can't take it anymore, Oprah. Bada bing, that's it. You dumb bitch. I mean, this girl that just called before the news here on Rick and Suds that was almost in tears, thanking me for saving her father's life by introducing him to the Atkins diet. All these type 2 diabetics out there, they're like shooting themselves up with insulin up the ass morning, noon, and night. All these people taking these Glynace and all these other oral medications for diabetes, killing themselves. And while I should be on the way to damn Pittsburgh for the big game tonight, I'm sitting here drinking iced tea with sugar up the ass. And my head is just pounding like the Hunchback of Notre Dame is in there with the anvil banging and hocking away in there. So what did Sal say, the water guy? Huh? I think we're going to make him an offer we can't refuse, okay? 10:14 at WIOD. Happy Tuesday to you. The Red Wings are hanging on, by the way. Last night they finally woke up. The Russians got the wake-up call. Somebody made them an offer they can't refuse, so they're still alive, which is good because regardless, we want to see that series go 7 games, right? Of course we do. We want to see whoever survives in that series, just in case we might win ours, which we're hoping we do. We want to see somebody survive in there like after a bloody, nasty 7-game tough series and get all beat up so we can go in there and beat the crap out of them. So nice going, Red Wings. It was okay. It was actually almost kind of an exciting game for them. 10:14 at WIOD.
Sign over here.
Okay, 10:17 at WIOD. So when's she leaving? So the rumors are now, we might as well start telling all these rumors on the air since they'll be all over town anyway. R&R, which is Radio and Records, the Bible, the publication that guys who are looking for jobs, evidently. And, of course, Mark Hoffman was looking in there because he unceremoniously got fired the other day here, but is still working because somebody else is on vacation or whatever that's all about. Yeah, was he the first one? He can always write that in his memoirs. I was the first one to get the axe after they announced the sale of the station. So anyway, he's, needless to say, been thumbing through it, and R&R as well. And the rumor is, let's see, I'm going to be doing middays on Zeta following Paul Castronova in the morning, and Rick and Suds are going to be doing mornings on She, and the cow is in the kettle and the cat's up your ass, and that's the rumor from R&R, okay? See, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of stories and a lot of rumors and a lot of lies and a lot of half-truths and a lot of BS going down these next 3 or 4 months, which makes it comforting to know, because that's the nature of the business. Here's our first call of the morning from Davey.
Really quick, Neil.
Yes, sir?
On the Atkins diet.
Yeah.
I have a little book. Well, I have the cookbook, but the back it says all the carbohydrates, the contents, food contents.
Right.
I shrank it, and I have it in my pocket with me.
Right.
It
shrunk?
It shrunk.
Mine, too.
I went to McDonald's yesterday with my girlfriend, and I ordered a quarter pounder with only mayonnaise, and I took off the bread.
Mayonnaise?
Yeah.
Oh, how goyish, man. Mayonnaise on meat?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. And
I looked in the back of the thing, and it says quarter pounder with cheese, 33 grams. Now, is that with the bread?
Of course.
Okay, so it's fine without the bread.
I can't tell you how much it is, but the overwhelming majority of the carbohydrates is in the bread, of course.
I did a good job, then I took off the bread.
Right.
All right, thank you for the
Hey,
Atkins diet.
listen, you know, if you go to, I don't know if you like Wendy's, but if you go to Wendy's, they will give you the, when you go to the drive-thru, for example, you order like a double cheeseburger with bacon or something, just tell them without the bun.
Really?
Yeah, and they'll wrap it that way for you, so you don't have to worry about, you know, so that you don't have to feel guilty about because somebody's starving and you're throwing away the bun, you know.
Okay, that's awesome then.
Okay.
All right, thanks, buddy.
You bet.
Bye.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. See, I don't want to get started heavy-duty on the Atkins again, although actually I do because, you know, because it takes my mind off this place. No, seriously, what are we going to do about that Italian program? I would like to find out from if those things work, first of all. I don't mind spending the money and then letting it sit around. Because I bought the CD and cassette thing a couple of years ago, the Italian thing. And then, of course, you listen to that for about 10 minutes, and then you put it in the broom closet, and it sits there like a lot of other crap. You know, it's really neat and interesting in the beginning, but you never use it. And I don't know that anybody is ever going to learn any foreign language from those things. Now, as far as the computer program, it would be kind of interesting to find out if those things work, if anybody out there has ever used them, and that if you can learn to speak. I'm not talking about this textbook stuff. See, when I went to high school, they taught us Spanish out of a book. Now they teach you conversational foreign languages, because learning language out of a book, in other words, to be able to read it, but not to speak it, are two different things. Because people don't speak buenos dias, como está hoy. You know, like one word at a time. Like that. They go like, that's it. And you better damn well be able to speak it, or it's like useless, okay? You better be able to speak it, as in on the freeway. So I don't, you know, I can't really, I mean, I can pick up a little bit here and there, certainly more Espanol than Italiano. But unless you get conversational language, you might as well forget it altogether. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Konnichiwa, Neil-san.
Ohio, minasan.
Okay.
Yeah, so you were talking about learning Japanese.
Oh.
And
did you learn it?
Well, sort of. I've been kind of teaching it to myself over the years. And
well, wait a minute. How do you teach it to yourself? How do you know what those symbols are?
That's the first step. Do you learn those
I mean,
symbols?
at least with most other languages, other than the Oriental languages, they use the same letters that we do. But when you start in with the Eastern European, like Russian and those, and Polish and Oriental languages, they don't even use the same letters.
Yeah.
They're like all these weird symbols.
Russian isn't that hard. I mean,
I had a couple of years of Russian.
And
Здравствуйте. Я хочу пиво.
I shouldn't go.
Yeah. Спасибо.
Pivo.
Spasiba. So I know like 10 words. You know, big deal.
Yeah, and Cyrillic does a good job of putting Russian into print. But we're getting back to Japanese. If you can remember 2 sets of 48 characters, can't you? Hello?
2 sets of 48 characters.
Yes, they have two alphabets actually.
Oh yeah, so that's 96.
But you use one at a time, and one of them they use all their foreign words in that. And so you can just, being able to read those 48, one set of characters, you can learn. They use a lot of our words for their words, a lot of foreign words to them.
¿Cómo se dice in Japanese douchebag?
Dushu bagu.
Uh-huh.
And
Dufu?
Transliterate it pretty easily. I don't know if Japanese use the term the same way.
See, if I were like in a situation where I were forced to try to, you know, communicate with the Japanese, I would just say, look, cut the crap, speak English, remember the bomb, you know, something like that, something subtle that would kind of like...
yeah, but that won't work in places like Hawaii where they own half of it.
Yeah.
I will.
Everybody speaks English in Hawaii, though.
Yeah, but you don't feel like it.
And what language do they speak, brother?
Who, Hawaiians?
The Hawaiians, the native Hawaiians. Boy, they speak like a guttural, I don't know what the hell that is, but they speak something really weird. I was watching a little bit of that surfer movie, North Shore, again the other day, because everybody was running around naked. And on the boy, those native Hawaiians, they speak like, I don't know even what you'd call it.
They say kahuna.
Yeah, they say the big kahuna.
And,
I said, oh, yeah, look at Ezra B. Young.
And wiki, all those great Hawaiian words.
Yeah.
And, in fact, they have a lot of words. Mahi is a word they have.
Yeah, they just say things twice, right?
Yeah. And,
like, come on, I want to lay you, stuff like that.
And Lakanuki.
Yeah. Okay, pal. It's great talking to a great linguist like yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Arrivederci. Okay, the Broward lines are all open. I can see this is going to be a bitch of a battle today again because it's the day after a holiday weekend. 524-9463, 524-WIOD, and we have 2 open lines on the green lines. So Steve Ziegler's in there now. I guess we're all through hearing all of his stories. I guess we won't be hearing any more of those, although there's still, some possibilities now. I guess if you read R&R, yeah, you better go out watch it. You better watch yourself because we got some new rumors that we're going to start spreading today. Neil's doing middays on Zeta. Rick and Suds are doing mornings on She. And Joyce Kaufman's going to be doing afternoon drive on IOD. And the cat's in the kettle, like I said. Here's the West Palm on the Purple Line. Hello.
Neil, how's it going?
Okay.
I came down and saw you Friday night at the game.
Yeah.
Just said hi to you before the warm-ups there.
Right.
But you went to the game Sunday, right?
Yes, I did.
Was the crowd as into it as Friday?
Yes, they were.
Okay, because I didn't make it there Sunday.
Well, I mean, it's hard to be quite as much into it when you only score one goal, but the crowd was great.
That's true, too. The game
and we had the towels again on, as opposed to those flags. The flags they gave out on Friday were too big, the blue ones,
Too big?
Yeah.
Why?
They just were. I mean, first of all, the dark blue, you couldn't even see them. And secondly, and finally, most people wound up just making a lot of noise, clanging them against the back of the seats instead of waving them.
Yeah.
The towels are perfect. They did the towels again on Sunday. That's the perfect thing to give the fans.
Oh, but did you see all the cars that had the flags when you left the stadium, or you got?
Yeah, no, that's great. But I'm talking about for inside the arena. We did that too. You stick it inside your window. But you know something? Even the original, the smaller flags, the white ones were better for sticking in your window because the blue ones are too big and they bat around in the wind. They're like all over the place.
But we made a hell of a lot of noise.
Knock out
Friday.
your windshield, stuff like that.
We made a heck of a lot of noise with those things on Friday, didn't we?
Right.
The whole third period.
Friday was great. Friday was a night to remember for all time in this town.
It looked like you had a good time when Jody came down to say hi to you.
Yes,
huh?
I did. And then, when his wife came over, I said, damn it, I forgot I was supposed to get that kiss, but I guess,
Next time.
Yeah.
Hey, were any of the Dolphins coaches there on Friday?
I beg your pardon?
Was Jimmy or Rainstem there on Friday?
No. Well, you know something? There's a guy, there's an assistant coach, and I don't know if he's an assistant coach or what his title is. Have you ever been to any Dolphin games?
Nah, not in a long time.
Well, there's a guy that stands on the sideline. He's an older guy, I'd say in his 60s, who's like bald.
That's who's sitting next to Wayne?
And he's been there the last couple of games, and I know he's on I don't know what he does with the Dolphins, but I know he's always, I don't know if he's the team physician or what the guy is. Somebody in the audience will know who I'm talking about, and he was there in that spot. So, that didn't hurt.
Yeah, that Friday night game when we were walking out of the stadium with everybody cheering and stuff, that was the best hockey game I've ever been to.
It was great.
That's a shame we couldn't do the same thing third period Sunday.
Well, hey, listen, you can't, Rome wasn't built in a day, man. You got to take it one win at a time. We're in great shape.
No. This season already, I just can't ask for any more.
Exactly. We're in better shape than the Red Wings are. They won last night, and they're still got their ass to the wall. They still got to win on Wednesday.
You should see it. My wife has been giving me trouble all season going to the games, right? And she kind of said, oh, man, they got in the playoffs, and oh, man, they keep going. I came home Friday night, and she's sitting there telling me, man, did you see Dvorak get 3 teeth knocked out? And she's getting off telling me.
See, these other guys, what have I told you for years about these pussies, football players and baseball players? All they got to do is get a hangnail, and they're on the bench. Here's a kid, 18 years old, who gets 3 teeth knocked out in the first period.
Mm-hmm.
He goes and he gets stitched up. They rinse his mouth out a little bit. He comes back and plays himself a great game and gets a goal to top it all off.
That takes some balls, I'll tell you.
Exactly.
No kidding.
Amen.
Hey, see you there.
Like even a man which said, these are the real men.
That's right.
Okay, pal.
Later.
See ya. Let's kick ass tonight. We have an open line. Boy, I should have gone to Pittsburgh, because it's obvious it's going to be useless here today. Open line on the Purple Line. Mobile One Cell, AT&T Wireless, pound IOD. Broward, zippity-doo-dah, baby. 524-9463. 524-WIOD. We got a dead bank there in Broward. We got 3 dead cavernous lions sitting there staring back at me. You know what? And we got 2 on the green lines in Palm Beach, but that's to be expected. 1-800-944. Oh, Jesus. Here's Richmond Heights. Hello. Richmond Heights. Now, how can that be? Have we ever, once every 5 years, we get a call from Richmond Heights?
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I was shaving.
Okay.
Spy report for you.
Yeah.
The Sunday sports page, Kim Bocamper.
Kimba Bocamper, yeah.
I have my radio set to IOD, so I woke up. He started the show by saying, just want to say, I don't know why Neil says I shouldn't be here. I have better things to do on my Sunday morning, but I'm here anyway, so we're going to do the Sunday morning sports page.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was ripping me on Saturday, too. I didn't hear it, but I got my spy reports.
Was he?
That's okay. He does not belong. He's, a good guy, but he's not a broadcaster. And especially at a time when we got all this hockey going on, to have all these ex-football players on the air pretending they know something about it, they don't. They know nothing about it.
At all.
How can you fake your way through it when you don't know anything about it?
You didn't see sports crap.
That would be like my being on there talking about Parcheesi. I don't know anything about it.
You didn't see sports crap, did you, Neil?
No.
Manwitz said the strategic move of the series was Ed Johnstone, who's had a bad tie at 3 of the 4 games.
Johnstone, yeah.
Keeping Barrasso in instead of bringing the Wiggle-It guy in.
Reggett, yeah.
Right. That was the strategic move of the series, and now Pittsburgh has the advantage.
Oh, yeah, great. Well, I'm real happy that the expert has spoken. Great.
All right, buddy.
Okay, thanks for the good
tonight.
news. Okay, huh?
Kicking butt tonight.
All
man.
right, 4-3. Two open lines in Dade, 751-9463. 751-WIOD. We have two open lines on the blue lines in Broward. Say them very slowly, Neil, okay, as your head starts coming back into shape. 524-9463, 524. I guess nobody in this audience saw that Oprah show with the nutritionist or whoever was on there. Give us any information about that. The doctor was on there, Dr. Atkins. I guess nobody saw that. I guess nobody has ever bought one of those learn language on a computer program things so they can fill me in on that as to whether it's another waste of time or you can actually learn something, except for the guy who's turning Japanese. 10:30 at WIOD. Like I said, where's the plane to Pittsburgh? Okay, where's Buddy Bud sending a private jet over here? Okay, get me out of here, will you please? Put me on a private jet and take me up there to do something useful, which this ain't. Keep off those highways. We have an open line in Dade, 751. By the way, our friends at Little Dragon Dancewear and Costume Castle, 8415 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines, want another free plug. They still have rats for sale. Don't forget, we got the big game Thursday, so everybody's going to replenish their supply of rats, I would assume. And it says for you listeners who are Panther fans, we have not run out of rats. We keep new shipments coming in every week. Please let those interested know that Dragons Den Costume and Dancewear, 8415 Pines Boulevard, Pembroke Pines, and Block West of University, has hundreds of rats just waiting to have the chance to be hauled onto the ice. So they got all the rats. They got rats up the ass over there, okay? So go replenish your supply. Here's Westchester. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay.
Thank you for the rat I received in the mail on Saturday.
Well, congratulations to you. Just in time for Thursday.
Yep, that's right. I tried to get tickets, but man, it was vicious.
No, you can just stand outside the arena and throw it at Hank.
I'll throw it at the TV.
Throw it at the Hummer.
And have you gotten my little mini poster of Felix Potvin yet? Or?
Yes, I thank you so much. I got it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Mentioned it on the air, as a matter of fact. You were probably busy eating weenies or something.
No, I was at work, unfortunately, yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
So there's at least somebody else out there who had to work on Memorial Day, besides us.
Yep, I got screwed. Well,
congratulations.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, pal. I love it.
Bye.
We have two open lines in Dade, 751 WIOD. Just take it slow, Neil. Just relax. Before you know it, it'll be 10:36. 751-9463. We got a couple of openings in Broward. Now, this is more like usual today. This is more like the old times. No matter what it is, I've thrown out 722 different things that we might be chewing our gums about here today, but they don't want to play the game, okay? It's just one of those things. Here's Pompano. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I saw the Oprah thing on Friday.
Yeah?
They attacked that man unmercifully.
Well, how come... You see, what I don't understand is how come all of these people in our audience whose lives they can owe to Dr. Atkins aren't calling in and ripping that Oprah bitch and whoever the hell it was she had on there. I don't get it.
Oh, and that woman was awful. But the piece
Nutritionist my ass.
You don't know who was in the audience, though. One of your close personal friends.
And which one is that? Who?
He jumped up and came to Dr. Atkins' rescue.
Who's that?
Do you have your finger on the O button?
Yeah.
Bob Lincoln.
Now, you know, Fat Rich told me that, and I had forgotten that. I blocked it out of my mind. Talk about a man who's muscling in on stuff.
Shameless.
You know, he ran that cruise, you know, the doctor. Everything that I do on this show, Bob Lincoln, it's not enough that he butchered us those 2 years with Vegas and everything. Now he's doing, you know, he's muscling in on the Atkins thing. What the hell, how does he relate himself to the Atkins thing?
Well, the woman was asking, how can you survive on 20 grams of carbohydrates a day? And he pumped up that he's 57 years old, and he does jet skiing, and he does all kinds of physical activity.
Yeah.
And she said, are you sure on 20 grams a day?
Yeah.
And he says, yes, I am.
What the hell was he doing there?
I have no idea. Maybe part of the audience from his cruise went to support Atkins.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, like an infomercial.
Oh, God almighty. I could write a book. That's another part of the Cox Broadcasting chapter of my life. Those 2 years with those 2 trips to Vegas with Bob Lincoln in this outfit here.
I know. I was on one of them. I was
in there practically on my knees in tears in Bob Green's office that first year, begging, please, somebody help me. Somebody throw me a life raft. Give me some support. I might as well have been talking to my miniature pincher.
Anyway, I couldn't believe who I was seeing with his little insignia, his VIP link on his jacket.
Oh, Jesus. Oh. If I wasn't sick enough from all that sugar in the iced tea, now I'm really on my hands and knees. I'm puking all over the place.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for doing it for me.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. That guy made my day. We have an open line in Broward, 5249463. We got 2 on the green lines, 1-800. I mean, it's just some people out there, everything you do, every fart that you cut, they want to muscle in on it. They want to take credit for the aroma. They have to pretend they got something to do with it. What in God's name does Bob Lincoln have to do with the Atkins diet, I would like to know, and with this radio show? Here's Hialeah. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Neil, could you play that Panther song for me? I got my buddies over here, and they haven't heard it yet.
Do ya?
Yeah, and what's the story with that? Is that going to be their song, or how's that working?
I don't know. You probably have to ask.
What do you think? What's your opinion?
What's my opinion of what?
Of the song. Because everybody that I know that has heard it says it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's my opinion. It's pretty good. It's okay.
Okay, man. Can you play it for us?
We'll work on it.
Thanks, man.
Okay, get out of here, man. 2 open lines in Dade, 751. Talk about a one-dimensional group of people out there, man. I'm not wasting my whole day again on the Panthers today. I'm all excited about the game tonight. There wasn't any game last night. We're not doing another hockey show today. There's other things that we talk about on this show once in a blue moon, okay? Not going to sit here playing the same stuff day after day after day. I'd like to find a few people out there, just a handful, who've got something else to say besides, where's my free rat, where's my tickets to the game? Phil, by the way, we'll be giving out more tickets for Thursday's game this afternoon. I'm sure of that. Open line in Dade, 751-9463, 751 WIOD. There you go. Here's Deerfield on the purple line. Hello.
Good morning, Neil. How you doing?
I don't know. I want to know where Evan is with my damn Italian program for my computer. I want to know how come somebody in this audience hasn't agreed to come on down here. I'm not looking for a freebie. I'm willing to pay for something, and you still can't get it in this town. How do you like that? Even when you're willing to pay for it in this town, you can't get it. Anyway, you were saying?
I was calling about the Atkins appearance on
Oprah, yeah.
Now, I didn't see it, but I know somebody that did see it, and yes, just like the caller before said, they did crucify him on stage. And
Isn't that nice?
And you know what? That could be expected, though. You knew that would have happened.
Why?
Because of all the closed-minded people and the nutritionists that are out there that do not believe.
Well, how come my doctor has lost all this weight on the Atkins diet? Looks better than he ever has since I've known him, and his raves about it to everybody.
I fully agree. I lost 26 pounds on it, and you know what? This fat-free crap does not work. I gained weight on the fat-free stuff. I hardly ever ate. And I know 3 other people the same thing. They were exercising and gaining weight on the fat-free stuff.
Right, because they're just loading the sugar and the carbohydrates into their system. They're eating Entenmann's fat-free donuts. They're shoveling them down like they're going out of style.
Exactly. And not even that. You don't even have to hardly eat on the fat-free stuff. You still gain. You do not lose weight on that. It's very rare. And if you do lose it, you gain it right back.
I'll give you an example. I just drank that. I'm so aggravated I could blow my brains out. I drank that 1 can of iced tea. You do realize, I said it's got 33 grams of carbohydrates. If I had nothing the rest of the day except water, I've already screwed up this day.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm already screwed.
Yeah, you got to make sure that it's on there or sugar-free. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Damn it.
I have, in fact, we had a cookout for Memorial Day. There were 5 people there, and they all were on the Atkins diet. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I thought I cut out.
No, I just blew out one ear with that can. Go ahead.
Combination inside of 1 month, you're looking at about 60 pounds lost.
How do you like that?
These people were stuffing their faces yesterday.
Incredible.
So, but anyway, I just want to let you know I'm going out to Vegas in August to the MGM. I can't wait. It can't come soon enough. It'll only be about 140 degrees out there, but...
That's okay. You'll love it.
I'll stay inside.
Be 115 in the shade, and you'll be loving every second of it.
I'm staying inside. I go every year, so I know what it's like in the summertime.
Right.
But, hey, it's nice.
You know something? I like it when it's like that. So it's dry heat. It feels like only 113. But seriously, I don't mind that at all.
I don't mind it at all. Anywhere away from here is fine with me.
Amen.
All right, Neil. You have a good day.
And have a great time.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Now they're starting to pick up a little bit. They're starting to pick up their ears just a little bit, their rears. 33 grams of carbohydrates in 1 can of goddamn iced tea. How do you like that? And why? I'm going to ask on the air since we don't know. You remember the place where I bought all that San Pellegrino water? And let me say it again, I bought. I'm not just looking for freebies. See, freebies are no good if you don't have the stuff. I want to be able to have like 80 billion bottles of good Italian bottled water. Why does he say Italian? I don't know, because it sounds good. Because it's from Italy, and if I drink enough of it, I won't need that program for the computer. I'll speak Italian by osmosis. I'll wake up in the morning and say, Buongiorno, come va oggi? Douchebag? Something like that. So we got to find out who the distributor was. It might not even be the same guy that had San Pellegrino, because that's good stuff. I love San Pellegrino. Not that I don't like the other one, too, which I'm not going to mention until we find out what the story is with that guy. I think they probably got to him. I think the boys got to him is what that's all about. Yeah, the Paxton boys. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How are you?
Okay.
Greatest weekend in a long time of sports on TV.
Yeah.
Had the hockey game Friday night and Sunday, and had all the auto racing Sunday.
Auto racing, yeah. That's good.
Well, and I never thought I would be getting into the hockey the way I have been. You know, it's really an exciting game. I mean, I'm learning more about it, and like you were talking before, these guys, I mean, you get these football players and baseball players, they get a hangnail, and they're out for 3 weeks.
That's right.
These guys get
They're a bunch of pussies is what they are. They're real pussies. Hockey player goes out there, they like put 20 stitches, like Stu Barnes, they like have a gash over his eye. They get a few stitches, he comes back, his eye is all puffed up, he comes back and scores 2 goals.
Can't even see out of his eye.
That's right.
It's swollen up like a grapefruit, and I mean, like, God almighty, I couldn't get over it. I was watching SportsCenter last night, and you know how Chris Berman gives all the nicknames?
Yeah.
And he came to the Panthers. And I can't think of the names that he came up with. Maybe one of the other listeners who saw it can, give you a call on it. But it was some of the funniest nicknames that he came up with the Panthers. You know, it's exciting that they're starting to get recognized.
Yeah. Long overdue.
Exactly. Heck with all this
Instead of guys like Tony Bruno and Barry Melrose sitting there bad-mouthing us, it's about time somebody with a brain and a little bit of fairness started giving us credit besides the CBC.
Exactly. It was really, because I've heard you been talking about over the past few weeks about how these other people are bad-mouthing, and now, these guys are players. It's so exciting. I can't wait till tonight, man. I am jazzed. I am absolutely jazzed. And thank you for really turning me on to it, because I would have never been, got this motivated.
Don't forget, final score tonight, 4-3 Panthers.
Okay, I heard that earlier.
4-3 Panthers.
All right, Pally.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kick some ass. Yeah, I sat here yesterday. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. And all of a sudden, I got that little twitch inside my rectum. And I said to myself, there it is. There's the word, 4-3 Panthers. I got that score. See, Sunday, people were coming up to me in the arena asking me for the score, and I said, well, 5-3 Panthers. I just picked that out of my ass, you know what? Because I didn't have a score in mind. I didn't get any inspiration, because to be honest with you, I knew we were going to lose. Because didn't I tell you all along it was going to be 2-2 after the first 4 games? I told you that. I'll never pick a score saying that we're going to lose, because that would be a sour thing to do. But I did know we were probably going to lose on Sunday, and it would be even 2-2. And then I said we go in there and win tonight, and then we'll wrap it up on Thursday. And I still believe that very strongly, as sure as I'm sitting here right now. And Manwich can go on here because some friend of his told him to say this or told him to say that. Yeah, all the stuff that he pretends to say about hockey, it's like somebody else, one of his paisans is telling him this stuff, going on here, oh, yeah, say this and pretend you know something. He knows nothing about the game, less than nothing. If they put the puck in his hand, he wouldn't know where to stick it. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question. Apparently everybody wants to talk about hockey because of the game tonight. Okay, I have a question for you.
What do you mean by that?
A couple of weeks ago, they arrested a guy that was selling rats outside the stadium.
Yeah.
Confiscated. What do they do with all the rats they pick up off the ice?
Like I'm supposed to know?
Well, can't we find out?
Supposedly
Can we recycle them? Because we're not going to stop throwing rats.
I would imagine they give them to, poor kids in the ghetto because they're used to seeing live rats, so they probably have rats for toys. Yeah, that would be good.
That's good.
Yeah, rats for brats.
No,
I like
we're not
that.
gonna stop
Rats for
throwing
brats. For underprivileged little kids in the ghetto, they give them rubber rats. I think Wayne is recycling. If he's smart, is what he's doing. They're selling them on the street corner.
Yeah, well, then he get arrested.
Not if it's official.
Oh, it's official?
Not if it's an official Panther rat.
Hey, well, the old Cleveland Browns had the dog pound.
Yeah.
We got the rat pack.
There you go.
But, no, seriously.
Call up Joey Bishop and see if he wants to come to the game Thursday, yeah?
Huh?
What is it?
No, I would like to know what happens to all those
we'll
rats.
find out. I'm sure that one of our experts out there is deeply into it.
Okay, I'd like
and the
to
rats,
hear.
too. Okay.
All right,
have a great
thank
day. See, there you go. That's what they're concerned about is what do we do with the recycled rats. This is the kind of stuff that people in this town are very, very into. Forget about the fact that we had that big fire in the cabin on that plane. Forget about that. Okay? Let's just forget about that. Oh, and by the way, the guy that was like out there in the Everglades, the one that found the black box, what the hell was his name? Jose Jimenez, something like that? And he says he prayed to God to find the black box, and he took his thing and he stuck it into the muck, and he the first poke, and bada bing, there was the black box. And I was thinking to myself, it's really interesting that God decided to answer this guy's prayer, but I would imagine when the fire broke out in the cabin and all those people were on board the plane praying to the same God to save their goddamn lives, and he all of a sudden, he must have been busy.
Maybe they were the wrong religion.
He must have been busy. What day of the week was that? It was on a Friday or a Saturday? There was probably some kind of a sporting event going on. He was busy worrying about the odds of what the spread was on that game. Did they cover or not? Because when they were praying for their wonderful God to save their lives from that horrendous... and, of course, the one now, is it comforting or is it even worse? I mean, this is a hell of a question. But people are going to be pondering this. Is it worse to asphyxiate in the fire and choke to death than to die from the impact?
I'll take impact.
Is worse?
No, I would rather.
Right. That's what I was going to say, because the impact, like that, I mean, like your history. You're like little tiny pieces, like you never existed. Immediate.
Food.
Although the trip down is probably not too pleasant. The anticipation, even Carly Simon ain't singing about that. No, seriously, because how long would that be? They, what was it, about 2,000 feet that they went nose down right into the Everglades? What, about 20, 30 seconds?
Maybe. Not more than a
less,
minute.
yeah. So it's something that we probably don't want to think too much about, but I don't think there can be too much question that they were asphyxiated by the fumes from the fire in the cabin and then in the cockpit, and that's not exactly the most pleasant way to go. But hey, we don't want to talk about unpleasant stuff, right? Let's talk about the Rats. 10:49 at WIOD. Here's sense a grand opportunity had been wasted. For me, this result changed the way the playoffs feel. I may be wrong. I hope so. I have a feeling now that the Cinderella thing isn't meant to be. I think Cinderella's glass slipper dropped onto the ice and shattered, and I think it happened here Sunday. And he goes on about it's going to be a Pittsburgh-Colorado final, and the Panthers' wonderful season, still wonderful even if it doesn't survive the Penguins, will end a couple of rats short of a fairy tale. And we were up 1-0, and and this and that. And then he goes on about the Sunday Panthers weren't the same ones who wowed the league the first half of the season, or the guys who rocked Boston and Philadelphia and made the NHL pay attention. They were the team that slogged through most of the second half of the season, tossing away scoring chances, skating on thin ice. Oh, blow it out your ass, will ya? We got beat by 1 goal by a team with Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr and Sandstrom and all these other guys and Barrasso in net. We got beat 1 goal, baby. 61 shots we had on Friday. We got beat by 1 goal. And quite frankly, after the first 4 games of the Philadelphia series, it was 2 games apiece too, but Greg Cote forgets that. And now he's an expert writing doom and gloom. You are so typical of everything that's wrong with this town, you piece of walking turd. I hope they blow the Herald right up your ass, okay? I hope they take you down there to One Herald Plaza and string you up from the goddamn flagpole. You jackass you, even if it turns out to be right. Because that's the safe side to write on, because we're the underdog. So, yeah, we blew it down the drain. It's not going to happen. That's it. Mr. Negative over there at the Herald. How are the Heat doing, by the way? How's Mickey Harrison and the Heat doing? Here's Miami on the purple line. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay.
One, I'd like to thank you for the involvement in hockey. And if it wasn't for you, I would probably never have started watching it. I've got the answer for the rat guy. They do recycle them. They bag them up and recycle them because they don't want them back in the arena.
Well, what do you mean, recycle them to whom?
Well, one of the companies that's posted on the edge of the boards
is
a recycling company, and they take the rats and they recycle them.
What do they make condoms out of them or something?
It's like a huge ad campaign. You got Orkin going out and picking them up, and you got the recycler. So it's all Wayne Hypinga stuff, and it's all probably money coming back into Wayne's pocket.
Great.
Also, was on the Atkins, lost 25.
Yeah.
Got off the Atkins, gained back 20. I'm starting it back up today.
Gained back 20?
Well, you know.
Oh, you sure monkeyed around here. I thought I've been doing bad. I gained back a few, but not 20.
I got back with my ex-wife, and I didn't have to be thin and trim anymore, but now I'm thin and trim, and I'm fat like a pig, so it's time to lose the weight. I do want to, however, in closing, say hi to my cousin Ray, the King Metal stainless steel bending douchebag.
Yeah. Don't people usually, in other words, by the inflection of their voice, they give you an idea of when they're done? You know, there was like an upward inflection on the last word, like there was going to be some more, and then I guess that was it. Okay, whatever you say, Jose. We have an open line on the purple line. We got 1 in Dade, 2 in Broward, 1 in the green line. It's extraordinarily weak, and this Greg Cote's column my head is swimming even more than it was from the sugar in the Lipton iced tea. I mean, this is just such a totally negative thing. We played such a terrible game on Sunday? I don't think so. It wasn't the most exciting game in the world. I don't think we played all so bad. We had them backed right up into the wall to the last 11 minutes of the game. And, yeah, so they scored a couple of goals in the third period. Whoop-de-doo, baby. This is a team that scored 8 goals or more 10 times during the regular season. The Pittsburgh Penguins. We played 4 games against them in this playoff series, giving up a total of 8 goals. That's 2 per game. And Greg Cote is sitting there, opportunity wasted leads to fairy tale faded, like doom and gloom, like it's all over, baby. Boy. He is so typical of everything that's wrong with his town. Major, major, major asswipe. Here's Boca. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how are you? I was season ticket holders at both games, but I don't agree totally with what Greg Cote says, but I have to say this. One of the things, the keys I thought to the series beforehand, that the Panthers had to take care of all their scoring opportunities. Unfortunately, if you were at the game on Sunday,
nobody takes advantage of all their scoring opportunities.
And Straka had point-blank shots that they could have.
And Stu Barnes, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing that bothers me a little bit about this is that they had the Penguins on the ropes on Sunday.
Well, let me ask you this: if you were a Penguin fan and you were losing 1-0 in the third period, might you not stop and think back to all the breakaways that Mario and Yager had, and the Panthers made all those great defensive plays to knock the puck away at the last second?
Barrasso was great, but
no, I'm not talking about Barrasso. I'm talking about all the offensive chances the Penguins blew earlier in the game.
And in the other games.
Yeah.
But the problem I feel is that the Panthers do not have the 2 greatest players, I think, in hockey right now, Yager and Lemieux. And unfortunately, the thing that I hope that doesn't happen,
then how come we beat them 2 games, 5-1 and 5-2, and the 2 games that the Penguins won were both 1-goal games, 3-2 and 2-1.
The Panthers have outplayed the Penguins in every game in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they've only come up with a split. So, and the Panthers, I think...
I'm getting real depressed that we only came up with a split.
No, I
think that if you would have told most people the last third of the season when we were stinking the joint out and dropping almost out of the playoffs,
agree.
I think if you would have said we'd be in the semifinals and be 2 games apiece after 4 with the Penguins, they would have gotten on their hands and knees and kissed your ankles.
Hey, I've been at almost every home game.
So why do you sound so depressed? What are you so negative about?
It's not that
I'm ready to get a goddamn gun and blow my brains out from this audience between you and Greg Cote.
No, it's not that. It's just that I feel in this kind of series...
We lost the game.
In this kind of series...
We just got through beating the crap out of them 5-2 on Friday, 61 shots.
How about the first game?
61 shots.
Well, each game I think is going to be different, but I just...
Right.
I just feel that...
Let me ask you something. What's the Penguins' record in the playoffs this year at home?
They're 4 and 4, and they're 6-1 on the road.
4 at home, I'm asking you. 4 and 4. So what's the big deal with that?
No, there's no big deal. But if you know the history of the Penguins, that they play better as the games get down to the end. And the thing that
is that what happened last year against New Jersey?
Different team.
Oh.
Different team. I think this year.
Different team.
This year, Mario Lemieux is possessed.
Yeah.
And I think that that's.
Well, maybe we better call up Linda Blair.
Well, I just feel
Get Father Marin on the line, okay? We have to have an exorcism for Mario.
But
maybe he was trying to get it out of his system in Game 2 the other night.
I said I think it's going to go 7.
Yeah.
I think it's.
So what would be wrong with that?
Nothing. It would be great.
We'll take a lucky bounce in overtime. We'll take it.
But I'll tell you one guy that I'm disappointed with, and I hope you agree, is Mellenby. He is.
No, I don't agree.
He had a lot of chance, especially.
I don't agree at all. I think he's playing okay. He hasn't got any goals. That would be like saying I'm upset with Dvorak until the other day, until Friday, because he didn't get any goals yet. I don't think Mellenby's playing bad.
He's been skating very hard.
Okay, well, listen, thanks for your positive input, and now I'm going to blow my brains out. Thank you so much.
Speak English or speak Swahili.
Oy.
Whatever. WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
Rectum. Good morning. At 11 o'clock, I'm Terry Griffin with...
So I'm reading the rest of this column by Greg Cote, and I'm serious. I am suicidal. The blown lead loss at home was devastating, it says. It was like Cinderella doesn't live here anymore, but left a forwarding address, Pittsburgh. And then I get this last guy on the phone here, Mr. Positive, that wants to find every negative that we can. Friday, see, I knew this. I knew that if we lost a game, that right away people like this would be coming out of the woodwork. 61 shots on Friday. We devastated them. We kicked their ass. We just embarrassed and ashamed them, the goddamn mighty Penguins, okay? And now all of a sudden we get all these negative people here, just like you'd expect in this stinking town. Unbelievable. Friday night, 61 shots, 5-2.
They've kicked their butts.
Exactly. And we lose the game 2-1. Yeah, we blew a lead, but guess what? Not too many one-goal leads are going to stand up against the Penguins. You're not going to shut them out very often. And so we lost the game. Wow. See, this is what happens when you spoil people. And all these all these armchair experts out there telling us, well, this one stinks the joint out and this one ain't doing that. Yeah, well, I got news for you. There's a lot of guys, they've all gone through their phases. The guys that scored most of the goals during the regular season, like Mellenby, maybe he's not going to have such a great playoff. And guys that stunk the joint out during most of the regular season, like Robert Svela, now all of a sudden he's playing great, like goddamn a Bobby Orr. What can I tell you? But hey, they're all experts, and they're all sour, and they're all real nervous, and they're devastated. I don't get it. I'm not devastated. I wasn't happy to lose the game. But hey, we were in it right up there till the end. We had the power play. We had a chance there at the end of the game. We made it interesting, and we lost the game by the skin of their teeth. Oh. It's 11:07 at WIOD. I'm telling you, the world is coming to an end. I just know it. You can feel it, can't you? The world is definitely coming to an end. I think probably before that game tonight. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Good morning, Neil.
Yes, sir?
How you doing?
I don't know.
Well, to hell with them naysayers and that goddamn Greg Cote.
What kind of fans are these?
Douchebags.
In other words, if we would have beaten them 4 in a row and then beat either Detroit or Colorado 4 in a row, won the Stanley Cup, then this guy would still write something good in the paper. Then we'd still be okay. Then Cinderella's still alive.
Yeah.
We're tied up 2 games apiece after 4. It's a best-of-3 series now, including a home game here on Thursday, and this guy's like he's devastated.
The faithless.
Devastated.
The faithless are nervous.
And this is the same guy that never wrote one column about the Panthers all season long, that wouldn't know a goddamn hockey stick if they shoved it up his ass.
Exactly. Not to change the subject or anything,
but
I got a little theory about that Oprah deal. When Dr. Bob was on there.
Yeah.
I think that Oprah's in with her advertisers, who probably are quite a few of the snack food companies and the big food giants.
Oh yeah, they're not too crazy about the Atkins or about that anti-carbohydrate thing, right?
They won't make no money.
And they're peddling. You notice everybody and their brother now is peddling the low-fat crap.
Well, it's easier to buy a steak and cook it on your stove at home, and I mean it's easier and it's cheaper, and it's the Atkins diet thing.
Right. In addition to which, he points out that if you're going to eat stuff with, if you're going to eat sweets at all, in other words, and even Barry Sears in the Zone, he says, instead of eating low-fat ice cream, if you want ice cream once in a while, have the high-fat, the regular, without the low-fat, because all the fat slows down the absorption of the carbohydrates, of all the sugar into the bloodstream, and your insulin doesn't go skyrocketing high.
Exactly. To hell with that.
So the whole low-fat thing is one of the biggest scams that ever came down the pike.
Yeah. And I do real ice cream.
That's like some of these people selling sugar-free products, and you look on a label, and they're loaded with carbohydrates.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
it's just it's incredible. It's the way the
criminal. It's really criminal.
Well, yeah, because it's so.
But like you said, it's all dollars and cents. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. You just got to know the reason behind the stuff, and when somebody like Oprah reacts to something like the Atkins diet in that way, you know something ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
So you just look.
And here's the same bitch that went on here about 3-4 years ago with that OptiFast, which is one of the most. All the medical people tell you one of the most dangerous ways to go. And she lost all that weight in no time, and then ballooned back up and was bigger than ever again.
Oh, Jesus, she makes me sick.
Yeah.
All right, Neil.
$1 billion she's worth. $1 billion for that pig. For Elsie the Borden cow.
That smelly bitch. Hey, listen, Neil, I got a quick request.
Yeah.
A little bit of James Brown. I can't get up. You still got that? Get up.
Can't get up?
Get on up.
I've fallen and
get
I
up.
can't get up
Get
with
on
the
up.
James Brown in the back.
You know, the James Brown thing.
It's on a cart. Rick and Suds play
Get up. Get on up.
It's on a cart and Rick and Suds play it?
Well, nah.
It might be on one of the CDs, one of the best of something or other.
Neil, you guys played it
ACN or something.
Quite a bit last
Okay.
summer.
I'll work on it.
And Stu Barnes is God.
Okay.
All right, take care.
See ya.
Bye.
I guess Cinderella's lost her slipper. I guess the pumpkin just fell off the goddamn wagon. I guess the rat. There was a rat in Cinderella. Wasn't it a mouse or a rat or something? There was one in the story there, huh?
A lot of mice.
Yeah, a lot of mice running around there. I think they were rats. I think the rats are at the Herald, if you ask me, and I think one of his name is Greg Cote. That's what I think. The most sour article I've read in a long time. And thanks very much to this listener out there who sent this to me and ruined my entire day. It wasn't bad enough I drank the iced tea and my head is swimming around like goddamn Greg Lousanis. But, man, oh, man, reading this swill, this garbage, this caca, as in cockamoon to you, Greg Cote. Another expert, another one of these mavens, baby. Joe Zagacki, Jim Manwich, Hank Goldberg, Jeff DeForest. These are all the hockey experts, man. They know their stuff. Listen to these guys. They'll give you the straight poop. You know what I'm talking about? That's it. Oh, Jesus.
Hey, the real question is, what locker room shower are you going to most likely be at?
Which one would you like me to be in?
Well, have you been in the shower at the Panthers?
Those are real men. God, that's embarrassing as to me.
11 after 11 at WIOD. Lose pounds, gain energy, get rid of nagging health problems. Those are the goals of targeted nutrition from Dr. Robert Atkins, who says, by the way, Oprah can shove it up her ass.
Him right out of his jockstrap.
Okay, 11:13 at WIOD. Speaking of that, here's Rimmer up in Pittsburgh, which is where I should be, but he's up there because he's got the pictures.
Pictures of what?
I don't know. It must be
well,
something.
Let me just tell you this very quickly here. The guys were disappointed he didn't show up by 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
They were prepared to buy you dinner and
Yeah. Let's cut the crap, okay? Let's cut the comedy. I'm not going to be there. You know how it is over here. A lot of empty. It's not a question of if. It's a question of how much bull crap can you take. That's
it's
it.
a matter of when.
That's the game here at WIOD. No, it's a question of how big your shovel is.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm sitting down
here.
here.
One thing they are there is consistent.
I'm sitting down here, and then somebody faxes me over Greg Cote's real negative column from the Herald the other day.
I just read it.
You read it?
Well, we've already seen the clip.
Oh, my God. Well, devastating loss, and Cinderella's lost her slipper, and this guy who never wrote one thing about us all season long, the bubble has burst, and it's going to be the Penguins in Colorado, and he's the maven now and the expert, and we blew the lead. I'm going to tell you something. If somebody put a bomb inside the Herald, it would be too good for those people over there.
Well, we just finished reading the clips up here in Pittsburgh.
Talk about negative. Then I get a guy on here a couple of minutes ago, another one of our so-called fans, basically saying the same thing. And, oh, geez, he's all depressed and ba-ba-ba. Oh, my God. We're like 2 games apiece with the damn Penguins, and we got negativity going on out there.
And with a few bounces, this series could be over. 4 straight for the Panthers.
Right.
If you really want to get down to it.
That's right.
Tom Barrasso had to play his best game in maybe a couple of years in the playoffs.
Yep.
For Pittsburgh to beat the Panthers.
Plus, we had 61 shots on Friday, and one of the most devastating playoff losses the Penguins have sustained in a long time in terms of being not just a scorer, but in terms of being outplayed. And yet all these people can think about is we let one slip away on Sunday.
Well, I can tell you that the Panthers will be focused for this hockey game tonight.
Right.
And I suspect that this is going to be one whale of a hockey game. Pittsburgh knows they're in tough here. Their record on home ice is not impressive. They're 4-4 in the playoffs. The Florida Panthers have played exceptionally well on the road as they have at home, and Barrasso obviously will play again tonight, and he will be a key, but so too will be John Van Beesbrook, who's been sensational and is now number 2 in the goals against department in the National Hockey League during the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And number 1, I think, is still Osgood, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Big win last night.
They came back. They butched up. Although I'll tell you one thing, Dino got tossed around like a rubber doll again last night, and then of course he lost his cool on that one and got himself a penalty after he got cross-checked there. And although that was bad, a diving penalty. How do you like that? Kerry Fraser calls a cross-check and a dive on Dino. Unbelievable.
Well, let me tell you that I think that series will go 7 games because I really believe that...
well, Don Cherry, you wouldn't have seen the CBC because you're up there, but Don Cherry said last night on CBC that if Colorado doesn't win tomorrow night, that they're done, that Detroit will win the series.
I believe that.
He's probably right.
Oh, absolutely. Meantime, lineup change-wise for Pittsburgh, possibility that they may get Wilkinson back in the lineup. He didn't skate this morning, but that's not really all that significant because neither did Lemieux or Yager skate this morning. And I was standing talking to Mike Lang, and I said, well, there's a good rumor we can start. Yager and Lemieux aren't out there for the morning skate, so maybe they're not going to play tonight. And he said, I'm going to use that lie. That's funny. And
so in other words, you're trying to tell me Mike Lang is stealing your material now, huh?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said, Neil.
No, but that'll be in Rachel's column tomorrow, though. I guarantee you that. Right next to Bow Wow P Cow Kick.
Well, let me tell you, I didn't come up with that phrase. That was his.
Yeah.
That was Mike Lang.
That was hers.
Well, for the Panthers, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jody Hull back in the lineup tonight.
In place of Garpenlov?
Well, I don't know. Garpenlov's played pretty well in the series.
In place of whom?
I don't know. I think that Doug will make a game-time decision based on the practice here this morning. And
well, who else are you suggesting that might be out of the lineup?
Who am I suggesting?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. Doug's got a tight-lipped on it.
Uh-huh.
And I don't blame him. And we are here during the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you said it last week yourself. That,
you certainly aren't seriously entertaining the notion that Strzok is going back on the bench and we're going to break up our fastest line, are you?
I'm not saying a thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying a thing. What do you think? What would you do if you were McLean and you were giving him the advice?
I would sit Garpenloff. If Jody's ready to play, I would sit Garpenloff. He has played well. I have no problem with the way he's played, but you can't, you can only suit up 20 guys, and you have to have somebody sitting out.
Somebody's going to have to sit out, and Doug's kind of tight-lipped on who that's going to be.
Okay.
Best I can tell you.
Okay. Well, I'm just sitting here. You're up there. We're sitting down here. We're waiting for something really good. We're waiting for some big, hot news.
Well, there is
even
no
George
hot news
just
at this
even
point.
George just said, "I hope this time he's got something really exciting for us."
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
Some meat.
Some meat. He says, "Where's the beef?" He's going to get. He's going to get Clara Peller in here.
I gave you the beef. The beef is that Lemieux and Yoder
That's not beef. That's bull. That's not beef. That's bull. That's the wrong. You're giving us a bum steer, Rimmer.
Well, I'm not giving you a bum steer. Oh, I'll give you some
That
meat.
sounded like the mad cow is what that sounded like.
Regardless of when this series ends and Detroit and Colorado finish up their series, the Stanley Cup Finals will not begin until next Tuesday.
Okay.
Fox, in fact, will go with their FoxTrax live in prime time next Tuesday night for the first game of the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, that is a definite... I talked to John
In fact,
Jameson.
I'm going to tell you something. Stan Savern and Guy Junker on SportsBeat on KBL last night were slicing up the FoxTrax thing like crazy, and I loved it. They almost redeemed themselves in my eyes. They ripped it an ass.
Savern's back in your good books then.
Yeah.
I talked to him this morning.
Although, I'll tell you one thing. Last night he wasn't so cocky, but he never gave the Panthers any credit for anything that we did. Nothing about the big win on Friday. Nothing about the 61 shots. So he's a little bit more humble now and like, they got a lot of work to do yet. But he's not giving us any credit whatsoever, and I think that really sucks. So tell Mr. Big Mouth up there that at least, he better have a chat with Mike Lang, who at least is fair and gives us some credit, which Stan Savern ain't doing yet.
Well, Stan Savern did say to me this morning he thought that this series would be over in 6 games, and the team that wins tonight, regardless of who it is, he thought would wrap it up on...
Yeah, but what does that have to do with giving this team some credit, which he said we were going to go fall hard and fast? Those were his words, and guess what? It hasn't worked out that way, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you, the Pittsburgh newspapers today are being very, very open and very... what's the word? Cautious about the Penguins' chances and complimentary to the Panthers for the way they played in the series.
Oh, this is the same bunch of guys that said Florida who?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So they've kind of turned the other cheek now.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll tell them they can kiss our cheeks.
And they think the Panthers have got a legitimate shot to win this series.
Of course we do.
And they know...
I hope we win 7-0 and 10-0 the next 2 games, just so we can take the box score from both games and stick them up Greg Kotek's ass.
Well, one of the...
and you'll personally have that assignment.
One of the columnists was suggesting that now the Penguins have the momentum, and another columnist said absolutely not.
Well, how can there be momentum, okay? In other words, if we beat them 5-2 with 61 shots on Friday, didn't we have the momentum?
Absolutely.
There's no such thing as momentum. If Colorado's ahead of Detroit 3-1 going into last night, didn't the Avalanche have the momentum? In a short series like that, there's really no such thing as momentum.
Exactly.
Each game is an individual entity, and there's no telling what it's going to be, and it's been that way.
That's why
Every game has been different.
That's why I think Detroit, as Bob Cole would say, has got a good chance to win the game tomorrow.
Don't start picking on Bob Cole now, okay?
I'm not picking on Bob Cole.
Bob Cole is God. Had a great game last night, by the way. You would have enjoyed the telecast.
Well, actually, I saw the first 2 periods. We went over to Rod Woodson, the great Steelers defensive back.
Right.
Cornerback. We went over to his restaurant, watched the game there on a big screen, and we asked them to put on a Hockey Night in Canada. They're very gracious, and put on the Hockey Night in Canada telecast for us. And we heard Cherry in the coach's corner. Kind of weak yesterday. Nothing really substantial.
Yeah, but then he was up in the crowd too. He had Probert up there in the crowd. He was on again. He was on again. He was on again the second intermission. He was on twice last night. They really made him work for his money last night.
Oh, I'm disappointed we didn't stay for the second intermission. Now.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. He didn't have nothing to say.
No. Well, I asked the guys from CBC today if that series does in fact end tomorrow.
Yeah.
In Denver, if perhaps
they're coming down here.
They'd come to Florida.
And what
but
do
I
they
guess
say?
Not. Not.
Oh, my God. What have we got to do? What do we have to do to get some recognition? You know what? to get some respect. I guess
Jerry
we got.
McLean will be with us for the entire finals should the Panthers win this series.
The finals, I was just going to say, the only way we're going to get respect is to get into the finals, okay? You better tell those guys that's the only way you're going to get the respect and coverage you deserve is to win this series and get in the finals, and then there'll only be one game at a time, so they won't have any choices then.
The Rats became an issue, I guess, on the Fox telecast. J.D. was telling me that he was critical of the Panther fans for the ill-timed rat tossing.
That's right.
And J.D. said it was really disgraceful to see Yager, when he went to the penalty box, be pelted with rats.
Right.
And also he felt that the referees and the linesmen had to duck for cover when the rats came down en masse. And apparently,
I have no problem with that.
Apparently yesterday on ESPN Radio with the sports babe.
Especially that Koharski, that fat slob. Tell Koharski have another donut.
Much the same.
Much the same what?
Well, I guess the criticism.
And I said the same thing. Who cares about those people? I said the same thing.
I heard you yesterday.
The rat thing is great, but you got to do it after the goal is scored, not all these other superfluous times. And the problem is you got a lot of these people that are getting into these games now are not our regular, as you know, core of fans that are there during the regular season. So these people are just there to get drunk and act rowdy and throw a bunch of crap out there. They haven't got any clue what the decorum is or what it's all about. And if they don't put a stop on it, they're going to spoil it for everybody else.
I agree with you. Could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
But I think that after this year, this was the year of the rat. We've got to come up with something different next year.
I don't agree with that at all.
You want to see this rat thing continue forever?
Why not? Why not?
It was a good thing.
The octopus thing has continued forever with Detroit. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, but the octopus isn't the rat thing.
No, and of course, I remember the game we beat Detroit here 2-1, and there were asshole Red Wing fans in the stands throwing live octopus toward the ice, which weren't quite making it and landing on people's heads. I know I'd really be much more upset by getting hit by a rubber rat than getting a live octopus on my puss. Yeah.
Exactly.
Boy, are you full of crap. Boy, they must have loaded you up with extra today. Man, it's just pouring out of your puss.
The rumor today that I was telling the guys from Hockey Night in Canada, I don't see as a reality, but one of the rumors that was floating around was that if Pittsburgh and Florida would go to a Game 7, that they'd play that game here on Sunday afternoon as opposed to Saturday night. But Fox, number one...
Guess what? Foster Hewitt will come back from the dead before that happens.
Well, it's not going to happen because apparently Fox, listen to this, Fox does not want to televise a game out of the Igloo here in Pittsburgh. Apparently the FoxTrax really doesn't go over too well in this building.
Oh.
And they can't get...
Like it goes over real well in every other building, like it did here when the puck was up in the 10th row half the game, right.
Plus Fox would like to start in prime time on Tuesday night, which I think is great for the sport of hockey.
You know something? After they finish off the Herald building, they ought to go over and see Rupert Murdoch next and take care of them. That's what they ought to do. The game survived well for like 100 years without Fox. Now all of a sudden they're going to reinvent it.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, in closing, yes?
Was there any word mentioned at all for the ratings for Sunday in South Florida?
Didn't see it.
Well, it might be a good thing for George to do, to call up to the Fox people in New York and find out, because apparently the national ratings were down.
George is going to call up to the Fox people and find out the ratings?
Yeah, I'd
Now
like to
you're
know.
giving George assignments from Pittsburgh?
What else is new?
Yeah. He has a message for you, by the way. Yeah.
I'd kind of like to know what the ratings were.
Well, why don't you got nothing else to do the rest of the day? Why don't you call up the Fox people in New York and find out what they are? In fact, if you were going to be, if this was a worthwhile call, you would have called up already, and you would have given us that information, because Rachel Alexander has probably been suspended after her B-bow P-cow kick or whatever that was. Oh, my God. She's probably peeing on it right now after the embarrassment of that.
Well, I guarantee
Talk
one
about
thing.
Bush League.
I guarantee one thing. The ratings on Sunday afternoon for the Florida-Pittsburgh game in South Florida had to be phenomenal. Obviously, the national ratings were off. It was a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
There was all that car racing.
Well, I'm not interested. I don't care. Now you're starting to sound like Harry Carey. Harry was on there yesterday. They had the Bulls Magic game on yesterday against the Cubs game. And Harry's on there yesterday saying all the media are writing that nobody's watching the game. If you're watching the Cubs today, drop us a postcard. And I'm serious. And he kept giving the address, Wrigley Field, Clark and Addison, Chicago, with a zip code, as if they have to have some reassurance that somebody might be watching them. Who cares about that?
Well, the Panthers are headed to the ice for their pregame skate.
Great.
And I'm going to go and watch. See what important.
I'm going to tell you one thing. You tell your buddy Doug McClain, if Marty Straka's not in that lineup tonight, he might as well forget about his ticket back home. Okay? He can forget about that Coach of the Year stuff because the fix will be in if he pulls that crap.
Well, hey, you got to go with the best lineup you can put on the ice.
Well, that's right, and I love Jody, but Jody's not fast enough to play on that line, and you know that, and I know that.
No, but what you want, though, is...
you want your best two lines, which is Barnes and Lowry and Shepard, and which is Niedermeyer and Straka and Dvorak. That's your best. You don't mess with your best two lines.
Neil, you're the guy that tried to tell Doug McClain several weeks ago when Straka wasn't in the lineup that you got to get him in, and you can't go just because you have a winning lineup and messing around with things. And you said, oh, no, that's a bunch of bunk. Well, now you're looking at it from the other side, but who knows what he's going to do. The fact of the matter is, Jody Hull can't help this team. After all, Jody's one of your biggest fans.
Yeah.
And Jody can help.
I didn't say sit Jody. I said if he's healthy, to send Garpin off to Siberia somewhere for a couple of days.
But what I'm telling you is that Jody can certainly help with Yager and Lemieux still very much kept in check for the series. You don't know when these guys might explode.
Okay, Rimmer. Have a great day.
All right, bud.
Give Jody a big kiss for me.
I will.
See you later.
Bye.
Get out of here. Oh, my God. We have two open lines. And what did he just say? Can you tell me something that he just told us that we didn't already know? Tell me something, George. What did he just say? Two open lines in Broward, which were losing calls here left and right like crazy. It took me an hour and a half. We finally had some momentum build up, and now it's like Death Valley days. 524-9463 in Broward and 2 on the green line, 1-800, etc. Here's Golden Beach. Hello.
Yeah, hello. I'm the one that sent you the fax. I just wanted to add something to it.
Oh, my God. Add something to it?
I was so upset this morning when I picked that thing up. I said I couldn't believe
That wasn't today's Herald?
Yeah, that was this morning.
Oh, my God. No wonder everybody's on the verge of suicide in this town from reading that piece of crap.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I said,
Sweet Destiny fades.
Right. I mean, the headline. I mean, it was just like, I said, what the hell was he writing about? And then I said, first of all, the second goal Pittsburgh scored was really questionable. It was a pick play. I mean, there was interference on Murphy.
No question about it. Smolinski bowled Murphy right over in the side of the net and then went in there and picked up the rebound. I mean, he really took him out. It was blatant interference, and Koharski didn't call it.
Right. And then there's Cote, right, or whatever you call him, Kotex. Right, we held him 89 scoreless minutes.
So what the hell does he want?
I said the heart and courage that this team's playing with.
We're not talking about the Ottawa Senators here. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Right, and the Beezer's got Lemieux and Yager talking to themselves. If you see them after every shift, they're over there looking at each other like, what the heck happened? They can't get past them.
Well,
I just wanted to say...
It's so typical of this town, man. If you allow yourself to be dragged down by the negativity, you'll be on the bottom. You'll be like a barnacle on the bottom of the ship all your life. You just have to rise above it.
You're right. I mean, 2-2. I mean, they're right there.
Yep.
They play terrific games. Well, anyways, I just want to let you know that, and I got my attitude up, and I'm looking for a big win tonight.
All right.
Okay.
See you, pal.
See you.
Open line at Dade, 751 WIOD. We got 2 in Broward. I still say we're going to win 4-3 tonight. I still think we're going to win the series, and I'm feeling fine about that. I'm not having a nervous breakdown, and I like having this every other day situation because, like last night, Detroit, Colorado, I can watch that game in peace. No stress, no pressure. I mean, I wanted to see Detroit win because I want to see that series go as long as possible to kind of like wear one of those two teams down. But other than that, no pressure. And tonight we got the big pressure-packed night, and that's great. But anybody that wants to be negative, or if we do wind up losing, which, of course, there's a good chance we will because the Penguins are a hell of a team, and if we do and they're going to try to pee on our parade, too bad because we're not going to put up with it. How do you like that? 11:31 at WIOD.
She looked like a lady, walked like a lady, talked like a lady, but I got wild. There's a dip between her thighs. Oh yes, there is a dip between her thighs. Oh. You showered me with kisses. I thought you were my queen, but I noticed something funny. I saw the bulge in your jeans. She looked like a lady, walked like a lady, talked like a lady, but I got wise.
Oh!
There's a dip between her thighs. Oh, yes, there is a dip between her thighs. You were my perfect lover, but how I was surprised Not only do you have one, but you're not circumcised.
Oi!
She looked like a lady. Walked like a lady. Talked like a lady. But I got wise. There's a dick between her thighs. Oh, yes, there is a dick between her thighs.
11:35 at WIOD had a tremendous response on that thing about learning languages from computer programs. We didn't get one stinking call on it on the air. We had the guy that was turning Japanese, but that's most of our crowd. We had a phenomenal response on the Oprah thing with Dr. Atkins. It's about like 2 calls. Nobody else saw it. And basically that's it. And then Rimmer called here and told us nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing for 10 minutes. Thanks for killing the time, Rim Man. Open line at Dade, 751. We got 2. No, seriously, did he tell us anything? There's going to be a lineup change tonight, but we don't know what it is. Jody Hull's coming back in the lineup. Is Garpenlov going to be out? Is Straka going to be out? Who else could possibly be out? Who else could be out? Huff is playing great. I'm trying to think of anybody else that could possibly be out of the lineup, and I can't name you anybody. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Uncle Neil.
Yes?
2 spy reports. WFTL, that board operator, you know his name?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you called him board op. And he's playing the talk show host now.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, he was saying that Neil is an insecure man.
Yeah.
So he better wear double knee pads now.
Uh-huh.
Neil is an insecure man, and he wears the same shirt every day.
Yeah.
Second spy report.
Uh-huh.
The little experimental airplane, you remember it crashed 2 or 3 weeks ago?
The what?
The experimental airplane that crashed.
Yeah.
They recovered the box, and the FAA, the only thing they detected was all that stuff.
Okay, we have 2 open lines in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. We got one on the green line, 1-800. See, let me just say this to you right now, okay? I don't care if we, God forbid, wind up in a building where the light bulb is right next door to us. We aren't going to be schmoozing with Brian the board op and with Rick Spiderman and with Mr. Ego and all of the light bulb people, okay? I noticed there were a lot of people sucking around immediately when the announcement was made about the sale of the station last Wednesday, but my feeling about the light bulb hasn't changed one iota, nor will it ever. And I always try to coexist as best with whomever, happens to be up and down a hallway, and that policy will continue. But if they really think that we have any interest in anything that those people have to say, trust me when I tell you we don't, okay? And it will always stay that way, just like almost everybody else in the listening audience. They don't care because they don't listen. 2 open lines in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. Here's Sebastian. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir?
What's going on? Ever since Rimmer was on, everything's downhill.
Everything has died here to the point we got that last call. That should tell you a lot.
Unbelievable. Well, anyways, I want to
Because he didn't say anything. He didn't tell us anything.
Well, they shouldn't change a thing anyway. They're going to win the series. Just got to have some confidence, not like some of those reporters there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to thank you. I've gone on the Atkins. I've just got past my first 2 weeks, and I only need to lose 15 pounds. I've lost 10, and I have more energy now than ever.
Great.
And I really don't need that many carbohydrates. I work out for an hour and a half a day. So everybody was saying, you can't get along. I was skeptical at first, but I'm just totally, my mind's blown.
Yep.
My wife
It's an amazing thing, and the only way you find out about it is if you do it.
And
then you go to the doctor and you get the blood test and you find out your cholesterol came down and your triglycerides came way the hell down, as opposed to going up, which is, it totally defies all the so-called logic that we've been taught because we've been brainwashed.
I know my wife doesn't believe it either. We went away this weekend and I had like steak and lobster almost every day. And
right.
Get back on the scale.
What a tough way to go.
Lost 2 more pounds.
Beautiful.
So she's going to start on it now. So I got her convinced. Hopefully now she's got all these allergies, and I truthfully think they're all going to go away once she starts.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the things that happens to a lot of people because we're allergic to all kinds of foods, especially there's all kinds of different things.
Well, it's like you.
Corn,
you had
milk.
that sugar. You had that sugar this
The
morning.
sugar, man, I'm telling you,
right away.
sugar is, I'm going to say it again, it's the most powerful drug in the world, 1,000 times more powerful than heroin or coke or any other mind-altering substance. Sugar is a killer.
It's a drug.
Yep.
Well, thanks, Neil. I appreciate it. I want to call someone a douchebag.
Yes, sir?
Very Melrose Place, you're a douchebag.
Okay, keep it up, pal.
Bye.
2 open lines at Broward. Broward's been especially brutal this morning. 524-9463, 524-WIOD, and 2 on the green lines. In fact, that one call from that real negative so-called fan came from Broward just before the 11 o'clock news. That guy, that deadhead, that was like a dooming and glooming. I think you ought to elope with Greg Cote. Make a match made in heaven. Here's Tamarack. Hello. Tamarack. Going once. Going twice. Okay, now we're down to 3 calls. Let's go to a lady in West Palm. Hello.
Hi. I'm calling from my car in West Palm, but I don't really know. I've been watching the Panthers ever since they came to, ever since we started them up in Florida, and I don't know much about the statistics and all of that. I go to the games. I watch the games on TV. We even sit a section over from where you sit. But as far as the article that you had read from the Herald, the Kotex guy, it blew me away. I mean, if anybody's watched them in the way they've progressed the past 3 years, and to think that they've come this far in the playoffs for the Stanley Cup, it's unbelievable.
For this guy to write that we were playing Sunday the way we played the last third of the season, I guarantee you, if we would have played the way we played the last third, the score would have been 9-0 for the Penguins in that game. I was at almost every game all year, just like I've been for the last 3 years, and I know how we played that last third of the season. And, Sunday we didn't play that poorly. We just didn't cash in on our scoring chances, and we got beat. That's all. We got beat 2-1. It was a tough game. This guy's writing like we stunk the joint out, like all of a sudden the great team from Friday turned into a bunch of schleppers or something. What kind of an asshole is this man? And I'll tell you what kind of an asshole is. He's a guy that doesn't come to the games, doesn't write anything about it all year long, and now all of a sudden he's an expert. He's a bandwagon jumper that is fearful now that the golden ring might slip out of his hand now that he's trying to grab onto.
Right. Absolutely. And I don't see any reason why we don't beat them in this series. I mean, we've been playing unbelievable. This is the most unbelievable I've ever seen.
I mean, let me say it again. We've won 2 games, 5-1 and 5-2. They've won a couple of games, 3-2 and 2-1. Okay? Does it sound like we're having a difficult time with this team?
Not at all. They got a couple of lucky shots. Their defensive men ended up playing very well.
I wouldn't say they got a couple of lucky shots. They're a hell of a team. They're a great team. They're one of the best teams in the league, for crying out loud.
That's true.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend we're playing the Ottawa Senators. We're playing one hell of a phenomenal team.
That's absolutely true. But we're also playing unbelievable ourselves.
Yes, we are.
And that's something that these people have to realize and they have to understand. And if they go to the games and they see the games, they'll know this.
Well, that leaves most of the local media out, see, because they don't go to the games. They don't support the team. They don't give it any kind of goddamn tangible support during the season when we need some support to fill up those 2,000 seats that are often empty. And now all of a sudden that we're in the middle of something very glamorous and exciting and everybody and their brothers on a bandwagon, now all of a sudden they're experts. People that have never taken 5 minutes to write about it, to talk about it. The Joe Zagakis of the world, they're a dime a dozen, man. Now we got a million of them all over the place.
Right.
And they're all experts.
Absolutely.
Well, just keep your chin up.
Oh, believe me, it's way up. They're doing awesome.
Okay, have a great day.
You have your chin up, too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Yeah, when Jody comes by, I always keep my chin up. We have an open line and a purple line, a mobile one cell, AT&T wireless, pound IOD. We got one in the green line here, 1-800-944, Rimmer's killing us. It's 11:43 at WIOD.
When it comes to news, there is no second place. You're either the best or you're out of there.
Animal parts are believed by many cultures to have tremendous medicinal purposes, none of which have been proved. But because of these beliefs, they bring in tremendous money. I mean, a lot of these parts are worth more than their weight in gold.
The best news, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
WIOD FM.
Not. So anyway, wait till you hear this. It's 11:47, by the way, for you time watchers. And we get a call from, George gets a call from Nick Lawrence off the air, who wants to know, I mean, this ties in with what I was just saying. See, they have this incestuous thing over there on FTL on the light bulb where they're busy calling each other all day long on the air, especially Mr. Ego, and monopolizing each other's shows and going on with this fake controversy of theirs. And I have a feeling that they really believe that now that we're going to be owned by the same company, that we're going to, get sucked into that same deal there, and we're going to be, ain't going to happen, baby. Nick Lawrence wants me to go on the air with him on FTL and discuss what's going to happen with the Aaron Summer Show. Now, I hate to break the news to you. First of all, I wouldn't do it, number one. Number two, you're the one that's over there working for Paxson. We're still in limbo, okay? The sale hasn't gone through yet, okay, Nick? The sale hasn't gone through. So since those are the guys that are going to decide to make the decision who's going to be on where and who's doing what to whom, why don't you ask them? Why don't you put Buddy Butt on the air? There you go. Call him up at corporate and put him on the air and get elicit an answer and pick his brain. Nick Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God. Okay, 11:48 at WIOD. We got an open line in Dade, 751. We got one in Broward, 524. Here's a mobile in Naples. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Sorry you're having such a bad morning. Hey, listen, I just got back. I just spent the weekend up in Pittsburgh, and I got to tell you, I was at a bar Friday night, and I was at a picnic on Sunday, and you would think, just by being around those people up there, that they were the underdogs, not the Panthers. The mood was somber up there. And up until I guess the last few minutes of Sunday's game, they didn't think they had a chance. So, hey, to all those guys down there in Miami that don't think the Panthers have a chance, you guys out of here.
Right. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen. Because, I got to disagree with you. I think that the Panthers do have the momentum right now. Hell, up to a few minutes before Sunday's game, they were winning. So, anyway, hey, listen, one last thing.
I don't buy that. Nobody's got any momentum in the series. This series is a Mexican standoff right now. It's as even as could be, and every game has been different. So it's just you take it one game at a time.
The other thing, I was reading the papers up there the whole weekend, and up until yesterday, they weren't writing a lot about the either team. But when I was coming back on the plane yesterday afternoon, and I was reading the paper, and big headlines in the paper there, you would have thought that the Penguins won the 7th game of the Stanley Cup. I mean, all of a sudden they win the one game, and, it's just everything is back to normal and tremendous. So.
Well, thank God we don't have a two-faced media down here.
Oh, well, there you go.
Thank God we got Greg Cote.
Hey, one last request,
in closing, yes?
I'm going to be down in Sunrise for the next couple of days. Any recommendations for a sports bar to watch the game tonight?
In Sunrise?
Yes, sir. Where real Panther fans are.
Somebody will have to call in.
Okay. And one last request, quickly.
Yeah.
Shaq, get a job, you douchebag.
Okay, and get a new phone. Can't understand a word he's saying. We have 2 open lines on the green line. A sports bar in Sunrise?
Oi!
Here's North Miami Beach. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How's it going? You guys moving up to North Miami Beach?
Who said that?
Aren't you moving the station?
Who said we're moving to North Miami Beach?
Well, like right off 441, I heard.
That's not North Miami Beach. 441 is not on any beach, last time I checked.
Well, it's part of North Miami, the city of North Miami Beach, isn't it?
No, it is not.
Doesn't it extend all the way to North Miami
No,
Beach?
I don't think so. How can 441 be North Miami Beach?
Well, I live pretty far west on 160, like right on 167th, and it's still North Miami Beach.
167th and where?
Northwest 2nd.
Yeah.
So 441's not far from there. Anyway, my point is still going to be, it's a bad neighborhood over
here. It's what?
It's a bad neighborhood over there. How come they're moving you guys way up
not
here?
Not compared to here. It's compared to
You're
here.
You're down there on the causeway.
Huh?
You're down there on the causeway,
the
right?
worst neighborhood in the history.
Oh, that's not. It's believe me, Neil. It's not worse than up here. I used to live.
Let me tell you this. Have you ever driven from I-95 on 79th Street east to where we are right now?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I guess you have to go through a little bit.
You'd have to go through Beirut
you don't have a helicopter
through Calcutta.
By now?
Well, Buddy Bud's going to be bringing us in his private jet every day, so don't worry about it.
Okay. And yeah, I don't know what these people are crying about. I watched that hockey game. This thing was like a game of inches.
Yeah.
I mean, we almost won that game.
Right. It was a damn tough game. We lost 2-1. We got edged out by a team that's supposedly heads and shoulders above us, and we got a bunch of crybabies here. I don't know what the hell's wrong with these people. What do they expect?
They're losers. They're losers in their mind, and they just sort of, put that off on everything that's around them. It's like that Kotex guy.
Move them to 79th Street.
Yeah, and one more thing. STL, I listened to them at work. They forced me to, and they talk about you guys all the time since that thing. They call you Uncle Neil all the time. So I think they're trying to buddy up.
Let me say it again. They can suck around all they want. I'm not interested. Okay, we're on like a major radio station here. We have 8 million times the audience. I earn every year more than their entire payroll put together. I'm not going to demean myself to worry about a little league radio station, no matter who owns it. I'm not interested. That would be so disingenuous because Bud Paxton happens to own both radio stations that all of a sudden we're going to start consorting with them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're kind of trying to make it seem like
anybody
guys are
that tries to make all the board ops into talk show host and everybody's a superstar. I'm not interested in playing on that playing field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
All right.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Go find a Lives over there, okay? Will you, with a light bulb? Go find something useful to talk about, like Pinochle, Parcheesi. Get with it. am I going to go on the air with them? Oh, I can't wait to be on the light bulb. Oh, my God, fulfilling a lifelong ambition. We have an open line at Dade, 751-WIOD. We got 2 on the green lines, 1-800-944-WIOD. And it's also really interesting that some of the same people who were ripping me an ass big time, now all of a sudden that we're going to be owned by the same company. Oh, Uncle Neil and ba-ba-ba, this and that. Oh, it's going to be like old times. Yeah, blow it out your ass. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Good. I was at the game Friday night. That was like one of the best experiences.
One of the greatest nights in the history of the human race, especially in this town. Here it's only like 3 days later. It's Tuesday, and these people are 4 days, whatever the hell it is, and these people are like half sour now.
Well, I guess luckily or unluckily, I split my playoff tickets with another couple, and they went Sunday. But in the meantime, I watched that game, and I'll tell you what it boils down to me is I thought we played pretty good. What it boils down to me is like the best player in the league made a pretty good play at the end of the game with his back against the wall.
Right.
Got a great
assist. And Smolinski got away with a bad interference, an illegal pick against Murphy,
That's
and
right.
Karski didn't call it, and they stuck it in there.
Lemieux took it in, and Smolinski put in the rebound. Bang.
Right.
You know, and that's all there was to it. I'm looking forward to a great game tonight. My next game is Thursday, and so far I've been to 2 series winners. Okay, I've seen them shaking hands with Boston.
I mean, all these people that are so sour now, since we know there will be a Game 6 Thursday, regardless of tonight.
Hey, I get another game.
If they got any tickets, I'll guarantee you there'll be a whole bunch of people lined up to buy them or take them if they don't want to go on Thursday.
I was kind of happy I get to go to another one, you know.
Right.
And I've been to two series winners so far. I've seen them shake hands with Boston. I've seen them shake hands with the Flyers.
Right.
I'm counting on that Thursday night. I hope they win tonight. And
Sounds
that's what
good to me.
Get.
That's the way I got it figured out.
Right. That's what I'm hoping for. Well, anyway, keep your chin up.
Okay, pal.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye.
Always keep your chin up, okay? That's what I always say. Get the knee pads on and keep your chin up. We have an open line at Dade, 751-WIOD. We got 2 on the green lines. See, another thing, of course, I made a bad mistake bringing up that thing about learning a second language on that computer or through any other way, you know. Because we got all these very phobic people in this town. As soon as they hear about any other language, immediately they go off the deep end. Especially, I don't want to say Espanol, but if they hear about it. And, of course, in Europe, I mean, there are many, many people, including those who aren't necessarily rocket scientists, who speak 2 or 3 or sometimes several languages fluently because they got a brain, because that's the way it is.
And they teach it in grade school.
Oh. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir?
How you doing?
Okay.
Anyone who's been following sports for a long time or anything and been watching the demise of baseball and football and stuff like that, all they complain about are people that don't work hard enough, athletes that cry all the time for playing time, stuff like that.
Right.
We finally have something that works down here. We finally have the Panthers, and I'm trying my best to be a fan. But it's hard when you listen to the media and you listen to these other fans. All they do is complain about these guys. They go out every night. They give you all they got. They don't complain. They don't have the high-priced players that want the playing time or all
right.
You know.
They give everybody their time, their autographs, their devotion, their...
The story I read the other day about how when they left after the game and they lost... And
Dave Hyde's column, right.
Signed autographs.
Right.
And everyone was doing everything they could. Why does the media continue to try to bring down something that we finally have that's so great, that people have been waiting for so many years? We finally have a team, a brand new team, bunch of no-names, basically, coming into this year. And, we're doing great.
Because we have a whole bunch of people like Greg Cote just waiting for them to fall, just waiting for them to lose a game, lose a series, be out, have the year be over, and then they can poo-poo it and say, well, this wasn't all so great, and now let's talk about the Marlins because they just won a game.
How could you like the Marlins? How could you like the Dolphins? I've been trying to be a Dolphin fan for so many years, and they just bring you down. And I think people are waiting for the Panthers to finally start.
Well, I mean, we got a lot of changes there. We got a new coach. I'm going to have my season tickets again. I've already paid for them. I'm hoping the Dolphins do well and that, they play the kind of ball that you can support. But, I mean, right now it's the end of May. It's not a time that anybody should be worried about football or talking about football on the air like some of these sports jocks that are on there. We got something phenomenal going on here, and you're right. We ought to be up on our toes about it.
And one more thing about the FoxTrax. I think what that's going to do is what it's done a lot of times. If you really understand the game of hockey and you've been watching for a long time, you really know where the puck's going. You know what's going on.
But you know something? Let me say this to you before you go on. No matter how much you know it, you cannot see it when they have that on there.
You're right.
And that's what Stan Sabrin was talking about last night, and he's been involved with hockey for years and years. You just can't see it. It just obliterates it. It's like in other words, it's not even helpful as if you needed some help. It just kind of like covers it up and you can't see anything.
And what it does is you start following the little blue dot.
Right.
You're not even watching the game of hockey. A lot of things happen away from the puck in hockey, right? Just like in basketball. So if you know anything about the game, you know where the puck's going to go. You know basically what's going on. You know the goalies are trying to knock it away from the middle. You know things like that. But watching this FoxTrax, it's going to keep everyone from learning the game again. And the same thing's going to happen down here with the Panthers that happened to the Dolphins. I hope it doesn't, but I hope the negativity doesn't keep up because we got something great down here. And go Panthers tonight. And good luck to you.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
We need it. Open line at Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. We got 2 on the green lines in Palm Beach, where, quite frankly, they're typical. 1-800-944-9463, 1-800-944-WIOD. Here's Plantation. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Good. Hey, John Brunetti should hang himself to help horse racing, first of all.
Yeah.
Secondly,
sounds good.
Panthers are great, and as far as that stupid blue dot, I watched the game over the weekend with my nephew, who's 8, and he can't even stand that thing. So Fox should take care of that. As far as the diet, Atkins diet, 7 weeks, 22 pounds. My only question to you is this: my triglycerides went up about 200 points. I followed the diet very, very closely.
Yeah.
Any suggestions?
No, but why are you asking me that? How come your doctor doesn't make you a suggestion?
Because you're the king, and my doctor doesn't know it.
No, I'm not. I don't give anybody medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I wouldn't pretend to be. I mean, and then for you to ask me that, I'm embarrassed for you. You've got to find a doctor that knows something.
Well, there's not many of those people like that down here.
Well, how much is your triglycerides?
They went up to 300.
Bad.
Never been over 100 before.
Yeah.
And in the last few weeks, they zoomed up while I was on the diet because I just had blood work done in January.
Yeah.
Started the diet April 1st. So in the last
and what are you eating a lot?
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Are you searching for a new sensation in dining? If you're tired of that same old bump and grind, then why not revisit an old friend and eat at the Y? That's right, folks, because here at the Y, we've turned our old facilities into a mouth-watering buffet. And you've never seen a spread like this one, featuring some of the most delicious entrees you've ever tasted. And if you like eating Mexican, you'll love the Y because every night is taco night. Or if you enjoy the taste of wild game, our chefs prepare a lip-smacking sautéed rabbit baked in a golden flour crust. That's right, hair pie. It's all here. Literally mounds of piping hot food, including juicy steaks cooked medium rare. Because when you eat at the Y, all the meat is pink in the middle. Or if you like spicy food, here's an unusual entree, a red-hot Cajun mule steak. Talk about a piece of ass that brings tears to your eyes. It's lip-smacking goodness you won't want to miss. So the next time you eat out, slide on down to the Y.
Located just north of Hershey Highway off the #1 exit.
Fun to eat at the Y. It's fun to eat at the Y.
Why?
Okay, 12:07 at WIOD, so we're going to be interacting with the light bulb. Is that the deal? It's... The more I think about that, the more amusing I find it, which goes to show I'm getting my sense of humor back. Thank God. You're welcome. We have an open line and green line, and we got one on the purple line. Mobile 1, AT&T Wireless, pound IOD. Tonight's the big night in Pittsburgh, baby. It's game number 5 in our series. We got the Atkins people all worked up because Oprah's a bitch. We got nobody cares about the goddamn bilingual thing, although I am getting my Italian program. And I'm going to come on here one day in about 3 or 4 months to do the whole show in Italian just to piss all you boneheads off. How do you like that? That's right. They'll all be saying, Marrone. Yeah, Jimmy Marrone. He used to drive at Yonkers. He still does, as a matter of fact. Jimmy Marrone and Carmine the Red Man. Those two, when they start speaking Italian together, look out. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Neil, great day.
Yes, sir.
Hey, go Panthers. We can only hope for victory, and we pray, and we'll kiss anyone's ass who gives it to us.
Uh-huh.
Sports Bar in Sunrise, I heard a request, so I can only tell you where I play some good pool, and they have a lot of TVs.
Okay.
It's called Hot Shots. It's between Oakland Park and 44th on University. Nice place.
Between Oakland Park and 44th?
44th Street, yeah.
Right.
Right. Nice place, nice tables, lots of TVs.
Okay.
There you go. Neil, I don't care who buys the station as long as you don't go anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
Great.
And I'm also not going to be interacting with the people on the light bulb. And I take great offense at the idea that... See, there's some people that think it's like a kindergarten. It's like a little playground. And now we can play games with this one and play games with that one. I don't operate on that level. I'm not interested in interacting with a 250-watt radio station.
Great. So I don't have to like the light bulb.
There you go.
Great.
And neither do I. Have a great day, pal.
Thank you, sir.
See ya. Two open lines in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. I mean, so disingenuous, some of those calls that came in here last Wednesday, as you'll well recall. Some of those ass-sucking calls that came in here. Oh, you're a part of the family now. Geez, little pipsqueak board ops who've got their heads up Steve's ass, stuff like that. We just don't play that game, okay? I'm just not an ass kisser, and I'm never going to be, okay? You got it? Can you figure it out? There's our friend that brought me the thing. Thank you so much, amigo. Look at that. All right. My paisan brought me my Italiano. That's a beautiful thing. And was it the right price? Because I gave George the money there. $20? What, $50, $60? How much was it?
He's not speaking. $65?
Yeah, I told you can't get that. See, why did he tell you $20?
You got me.
What a jackass that Evan is, okay? I told you it had to be. Didn't I tell you $50 or $60?
Yeah, this is CD-ROM and it speaks.
Of course it speaks. It's the right thing. Here's another 20. Here's another 5. Here's another 65 right on the barrelhead, okay? He almost passed out when we said we were going to give him $20, and I don't blame him because George told me $20, and I said, what kind of a cheap piece of dreck? What kind of program can you get for $20? Even that fat slob Evan can't get you a good program for $20. So here's the other 45. We just wanted to fun you. You know how it is. And thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Profusely. You bet. See, that's the way we do things. We have our listeners go out there and run errands for us. That's the way it is. They come in here, and he put $65 on the receipt. It probably was 20, but that's just a joke, pal. See, look at that, $59.99 plus tax. So that comes out to $65, huh? Plus delivery charges. Well worth it. It's called Read, Listen, Speak Italian Now. It's CD-ROM. You can listen to it. You can talk to it. You can scream at it. Associated Press says, does it work? And the answer is, yes! How do you like that? Computer Shopper says, the best language tutor we've ever seen. Mac user Ziff Davis says, transparent language has revolutionized computer-based language learning. You'll be a Dago in no time. That's what it says right on the box. You'll be a wop in no time. And the price, it said 65 guineas. Okay, let's do a North Miami Beach. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How you doing?
Great.
You know, I got to admit to you, I just hopped on the bandwagon behind the Marlins.
That's okay.
Behind the
behind whoever these guys are, right?
Yeah, whoever these guys are. But you know, I'm really surprised at the real hockey fans. You know, they lose one game. You know, you'd think they'd have more faith in their team.
Those aren't real fans. Those are just bandwagon jumpers who got like one leg on the edge waiting to jump off the wagon. I hope they fall off and break their leg.
Well, I mean, you know, we lost by one goal. I mean,
let me just say this to you right now, okay? If we should, God forbid, if we should lose tonight and Thursday 8-0 in both games, okay, which as good as the Penguins are, that's possible. I mean, unlikely, but it's possible. I mean, I'll be unhappy. I won't be pleased with it, but I'm still going to say to myself, this has been one phenomenal year. I can't wait till next year. Doug McClain is God, Jody Hull, Stu Barnes, everybody at the Beezer. I'm going to be ecstatic. We ought to be having a parade for these guys, even if we don't win another game.
Of course.
All these sour, negative people, man, they should be put on a goddamn bus and railroaded. They should be tarred and feathered, taken to Aintree and put in the Coolawasi River.
Look, I read in a sports magazine. I wanted to ask your opinion on him. Have you heard of a guy named Steve Washburn?
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
We had him up for a couple of games. He looked pretty good, as a matter of fact. He played
I think they should take him off the bench a little more, don't you think? Because, I mean, what do you think?
What do you mean take him off the bench? He's not up with the team right now. Well, maybe he is. I don't know. He's like on the, in bubbling under, but he's not. He's not on the roster.
Oh, okay. And one more thing I wanted to say.
He's not dressed, is what I'm trying to say.
One more thing I wanted to say. If the Panthers want to win tonight, you know what they got to do?
Yeah.
They got to get rid of Van Beesbroek, whatever his name is, and bring in Lenny Dykstra.
There you go. Okay, there's a good knowledgeable fan for you. We have an open line in Dade, 751-9463. We got one in Broward, 524. So you have a conversation with somebody for like 2.5 minutes, and then at the end of the conversation, they make a butt plug out of themselves, which is great. I don't want to say asshole because I don't want to offend that guy. Okay, let's do Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I want to bring up something about the Panthers I don't think anybody's touched on, and that's there are 4 lines against Pittsburgh's 2.
Uh-huh.
And
well, what do you mean nobody's touched on that? It's all we talked about.
I know they touched on that part, yes.
Yeah.
But my point is, it seems to me every game that I've watched, and I've watched all the playoffs and games before that.
Yes.
It seems that the Panthers just wear them out in the third period.
And especially the fact they don't have Francis in there is a tremendous negative for the Penguins. Francis is such a key to their power play. He's a tremendous penalty killer. He's their best face-off man. I mean, a lot of people are forgetting about that, but Ron Francis is not chopped liver.
Right,
In fact, it seems to me that, Lemieux and Yager were 1 and 2 in the scoring in the league. It seems to me he was like just a couple of slots lower.
Exactly.
Right.
And because they every game that I watched, it just seemed that the Panthers won every third period.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they won the game or not, they won, as far as their physical play and everything, that they just outplayed everybody that they've played in the third period.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I had to say.
Okay, pal.
Okay, bye.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Yes, sir.
And your legs and your eyes. 2 open lines in Broward, 524-9463, 524-1214 at WIOD.
Holy cow, Aaron, come on, actually a lesbian.
Becomes Cyber Buddies. www.wiod.com. Worldwide, baby. From News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.
I want to say it again. I have heard a lot of stupid things on here in the 36 years that I've been in this business. That thing right there, where we got like the rejoin there, and then all of a sudden it stops in the middle, and then Fadek starts opening up a big puss again, and then we go back through the whole thing again. Like, how the hell are you supposed to know when the goddamn thing ends? You know what I'm saying? How the hell are you not? Oh, okay. It's just more WIOD subterfuge. It's just more Steve Nickel droppings is what it is. We have an open line in Broward, 524. So, screw it. Just pretend you didn't hear that thing in lesbian and all that other crap. Bulldyke. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Tony. I think the Panthers are going to win tonight.
Yeah, well, that's good, Tony. Have a nice life. We have 2 open lines in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. Tony wouldn't know a puck if you shoved it in his mouth, okay, but let's give it a shot. And we have an open line in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. That's it. Just hammer it in there with a stick. That boy, Ulfie. One more time. Hit him across the... That's it. Little cross-check in the back of the head. Here's Coconut Grove. Hello.
Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Listen, I'd like to commend you on your promotion of hockey in South Florida here. It's a shot in the arm for this area.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, also...
This town needs a shot in the head is what it needs.
They need a shot in the head. On this Cote issue, he's a douchebag. I think we should all call him up at 350-2111 and fill his voicemail up with hate.
Is that his number?
That's his number, 350-2111. Ask for his voicemail.
Ash for his
Ask for his voicemail.
Okay.
All righty.
Sounds okay to me.
And as for the Panthers, they're going to win tonight, and we're going to have a party here on Thursday.
4-3. What's Greg Cote going to say then? Cinderella just showed up again with her slippers.
That's right.
Maybe Greg's wearing the slippers. Maybe that's the problem.
We should take him up on writing it 50 times on a blackboard. I believe. Make him do it in front of everybody.
Yeah, or else just get on the bus sounds good to me with a one-way ticket to Aintree.
That sounds good to me, too.
Okay, pal.
Good luck, Neil.
See ya. Open line in Dade, 751-WIOD. We got 2 in Broward, 524. And then, of course, he's also telling us, it's really ballsy to come out there and tell us that Colorado is going to be winning the goddamn their series since they were ahead 3-1 when he wrote it. Now, of course, it's 3-2. And if by some chance the Red Wings should beat him in Denver tomorrow night, it's going to be 3 apiece. And they go back to Detroit for the last game on Friday. And wouldn't that be something if he turns out to be wrong on both series, When you've only got 4 teams left and you wind up blowing both calls, that would be pretty embarrassing, wouldn't it, Greg? Here's a lady in Loxahatchee. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I'm just calling to talk to you about the Atkins diet.
Uh-huh.
My husband listens to you all the time, constantly, and he told me about it, and I lost 30 pounds in 3 months.
Great.
And it's wonderful. I had 4
And you're still alive?
And I'm still alive.
Wow.
Well, I had 4 kids in about 5 years, so I needed a lot of weight to lose.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And I also wanted to talk to about the Panthers. My husband's been a diehard fan since they started, and we won tickets to the game on Friday. And I'll tell you, I've never seen anything so exciting in my life.
Ever. Oh, so you were there Friday?
Yeah. It was
Boy,
great.
You sure picked the night.
Actually, we came down to try to find you, and we couldn't find you because my husband wanted me to thank you personally.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find you. He kind of showed me the area you were in, but we weren't really sure, and I didn't know what you looked like, so we were a little confused.
Well, you didn't miss much. That's okay.
Well,
as long as you saw the game, that was worth the price of admission.
I wasn't a hockey fan before, but I'm telling you, he has been ever since they started, and he thinks they're great. And I said, well, if we could afford season tickets, I'd be there every day. Every single game. They're great.
Well, that's great.
They really are. But thank you again for the Atkins diet. If it wasn't for you, I would have never even known about it.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Have a great day, sweetheart.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
How do you like that? Hockey, the Atkins diet. I've given some of these people their lives, okay? And what am I doing? I'm sitting here getting calls from the light bulb. Would you come on and talk with us about Erin Summers? Is she going to be on? Call up corporate over there and see if she's going to be on, okay? I think the answer is pretty obvious. It's going to be no. It's going to be no. I think they just about spelled that out in Braille right there in front of your puss. That show ain't going to be on. I mean, it don't have any sponsors. It don't have any audience. But other than that, you think she's going to be on?
No.
Oh, God. I'm telling you, seriously, I should be in Pittsburgh right now. This is criminal. This is a criminal act. That, they always give you the big tease. They lead you on like, oh, yeah, we're going to say, how would you like to do the show in Pittsburgh? All right, great, game number 5. And then, the station was sold in between, so we're not going to spend no money. We're not going to send you up there. We're not going to go through a lot of work. I mean, we're still kind of like the caretakers of this thing because we're overseeing it. You're in the building, but, yeah. Here's West Palm on the purple line. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, buddy?
Okay, Pally.
This is your friend, the sign man. All I have to say is Lemieux, Yager, and Fox can bite me. I watched that game on Fox, and it's so hideous to watch that puck go through people's laps and over their head. And
can't follow the puck at all. They've made damn sure that nobody can see it to save their lives.
They block it out. How can you see it?
That's
and
right.
then
There's
they
just
do
a big blur.
They do the slap shots, and then they do the red slash through it. It's like, what are we, kids?
Yeah, somebody needs to go after those Fox people and kidnap them and send them to Loxahatchee or somewhere.
Well,
somewhere really sick.
What's even worse is when they commercial break and they do those stupid robot things. That is got to be.
Don't you understand? Everything is geared toward little kids. That's all Fox knows. Little kids. That's the whole mentality of every goddamn thing they put on the air.
Well, the Penguins and Fox are doomed.
And I want everybody in the country to know that all those little kids are watching Melrose Place on Monday night, and they're all going to wind up being a bunch of perverts, and I think somebody ought to do something about it. How do you like that?
I'll tell
Just to get even with schlocks.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for tonight.
I'm with you.
Okay,
I'm just killing some time in the meantime.
No kidding.
Okay, pal.
Bye.
See ya. Yeah, I'm going to go home with my Italian program and spend all afternoon learning Italiano. Then I'm going to swear at whoever the referee is tonight in Italian. That's what I'm going to do. Mannaggia la miseria, douchebag. Come si dice douchebag in Italiano? How do you say, come si dice strawberries in Italiano? Huh?
I don't know.
Asparagi, that's asparagus.
Fresa?
Fresa?
That's in Spanish. Is it the same as in Italian?
No, it's very similar. How about carciofi? That's artichokes. See, I know these things. I know important stuff. Asparagi. Even you know that.
Asparagus?
Very good. Excellent.
All those Latin root words,
Yeah. I got a root for you. We have an open line in the purple line, pound IOD, mobile 1 cell, AT&T wireless. We got a pair there in Palm Beach. We got a small pair in Palm Beach. 1-800-944-9463. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil. It's your buddy Jim Balboni.
Jim Balboni?
I got a little problem right now.
Oh, my God.
My truck just got stolen from Fort Lauderdale Beach about an hour ago.
Yeah.
My license plate is RAT27. I was wondering if you could help me out because the police don't want to do much. It's got my all Florida Panther stuff all over it. RAT27, RAT on.
Well, what do you mean the police don't want to do much?
Well, typical police. They didn't know. We dialed 911, and then about a half hour later, a cop shows up. He knew nothing about it. Another cop was hanging on the side of the road on an alleyway.
What do you mean he knew nothing about it? About your thing being stolen?
Yeah, we reaped here.
They didn't give a crap, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But I just wanted to get a little help from the listeners. All my rat trick paraphernalia is inside.
Well, tell us
my
what
wallet.
it looks like. What kind is it?
It's a 1994 Chevrolet beige extra cab pickup truck.
Right.
With my free rat with hat magnetic signs on it. And the license plate is Florida Panther tag RAT27. With a magnetic toolbox and a aluminum toolbox and all kinds of coolers and grills. We had a big barbecue yesterday, and it's full of coolers and grills and a big blue top. You can't miss this thing. It's I just thought to get a little help because the wallet's in there and all kinds of stuff.
Nice. So what should they do? Call 911 if they see it?
No, just call me at home, 568-9592, and whatever they need from me for hats or shirts, I'm more than obliged to.
Okay, Jim, good luck.
Thank you, Neil. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, they're probably too busy out there with their goddamn radar traps to, spend some time. If you would have just had a low jack in there, Jim, if you would have had your low jack, you'd be having it on the way to be back right now. Open line at Broward, 524-9463, 524 and 2 on the green lines, 1-800, etc. Here's Aventura. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
What's the story with the Penguins and tonic water?
The Penguins and what?
Tonic water.
I haven't got any idea.
The guys at Fox were saying Friday that the Penguins were drinking tonic water because they were dehydrated.
Yeah.
And
maybe that's why Mario had in the second game, too much tonic water.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
There's a special ingredient there that's called quinine that helps them give them more energy for the game.
Right.
Is that true?
Well, I don't think that's unusual for the Penguins. I mean, especially like when they went in that 4 overtime game against Washington, they were just drinking enormous amounts of fluids in between periods to keep going. And also, who the hell was it? I think Francois Lemieux said they were eating pizza between periods in that 4 overtime game against the Caps.
Right.
Yeah. Pizza and quinine. It'll do it every time.
Jesus.
Okay, Greg Cote, you suck.
Okay.
Bye.
Greg Cotex, baby, he bites the big one. Everybody's unanimous on that. He can take the Herald and shove it where the moon don't shine with his goddamn negative attitude. Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland. We didn't win a game. We lost, and we're playing like crap. And we only got 61 shots on Friday, and we let it slip away. Boy, oh boy, how could anybody be negative in the middle of this? We finally have something really like rip-snorting, ass-kicking great going on in this town, and we got negativity going on? I say those people should be lined up and shot, is what I say. Shoot them. Maybe in the ankle to start, and then work your way up, okay? There's no pain where there's no equipment. You know what I'm talking about? Where there's no sense, there's no feeling. What a craphead. I'm glad the guy sent me this because I don't read the Herald. Now you understand why I don't read the Herald. Dave Hyde has all these great columns he's been writing about what great guys the players are and how they've been so accommodating even after the loss the other day. And we've had all kinds of positive vibes. And in the sports section yesterday in the Sun Sentinel, it says Panthers instead of sports on the section. And the Herald, what do they got? They got Greg Cotex, okay? Well, you know what you do with Cotex, don't you? Here's a mobile in Hialeah. Hello? Gone? Mobile in Hialeah, that sounds like the deadest line. Hello?
Hello?
There he is, like I said.
¿Cómo está, Neil?
Bueno.
¿Cómo está?
Muy bueno. Molto bene.
Las Panteras son los número uno.
Sí.
Los números van a ganar Stanley Cup.
Sí.
Okay?
Yeah. Mama La Pincus. We have an open line in Broward, 5249463. No, she's our mascot, Mama La Pincus. 5249463, and her brother-in-law, Maricon. And we have an open line on the green line, 1-800-944-9463. They get so emotional when you say some of the, especially Wayne's Hypinga. They get very nervous about that. 1228 at WIOD.
I'm wired.
Are you gay? Are you unsure of your sexuality? Being gay is a full-time commitment. So before you sashay on out of the closet, pick up a copy of It's Okay to Be a Homo. It's Okay to Be a Homo is a surefire way to find out if you're gay. The book contains page after page of probing questions, like, how would you say the phrase, 7 sailors sucked slippery shafts?
7 sailors sucked slippery shafts.
Or questions like, would you rather spank a bare bottom or spank your monkey?
Oh, that's nice. What kind of question is that? I mean, if you really must know, I'm not really into cruelty to animals, well, with the exception of gerbils. So I'd rather spank a bare bottom, bitch.
No, I'm sorry, but bitch isn't until Chapter 8. Pick up a copy of It's Okay to Be a Homo. It's Okay to Be a Homo, available at all Boys Town and Wrigleyville bookstores.
Okay, 1232 at WIOD. By the way, on future days, I was just thinking about this, George, something we have to analyze for the next 3 or 4 months. When we have food come in here again, which is definitely not going to be today, but in future days when we have like Flora's or any other, like whatever happened with that woman that called on Friday, which George ain't paying no attention. Remember she said she was going to bring food Thursday or Friday?
She was going to do what?
Bring food.
Thursday.
Okay.
Or Friday.
But my point being that from here on in until September, it's not going to be like the old days. We've got a new deal going now. In other words, it's the Cox people are out and the Paxton people are in. And if you're one of those shared douchebag people or whatever they call it, I'm not too sure. We'll give you half a slice. Right. That sounds okay to me.
Depending on what they've done for us lately.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's not going to be like the old days when you just come muscling your way in here and start grabbing a bunch of goddamn food off the counter here and waddling your way downstairs anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Here's Hialeah. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Great.
Hey, number 1, Paxton's an asshole. And number 2.
Yeah, and number 2, you're it. We have an open line in Dade, 751-WIOD. We got one in Broward, 524-9463, and 2 on the green lines, 1-800-SPIC. Let's go to Key West. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, when the Panthers first acquired Straka...
Can barely hear you.
Huh?
I say I can barely hear you.
Is that
Speak
better?
up. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. When the Panthers first acquired Straka and Shepard,
right,
they won a series of games convincingly and easily.
This was at a time when we couldn't get out of our own way, right?
Okay. Now, it became apparent to me at that time that what was a very good team suddenly became an excellent team.
Right.
Then they went into a prolonged slump.
Correct.
Now, at that time, I was not worried. although a lot of Panther fans were worried.
Including me, yes.
Yeah, I
Because
knew
we were
you
stinking the joint out.
In fact, I was thinking of calling you and trying to reassure you. But, you know, a lot of excellent teams go into what is perceived as a slump before the playoffs because they want to rest their players.
Now what games were you watching, man? We're talking about the last third of the season. We weren't resting anybody. We were stinking the joint out. Let's not start sugarcoating this. We stunk.
Well, look,
we stunk.
No, we didn't stink.
Yes, we did.
They were just cooling it.
We couldn't score it. Yeah, they were cooling it. They were just putting it into low gear, right? We were just waiting for the big moment,
all
right?
Now, Neil, you know, I don't know a lot about...
That's obvious.
All right, but I do know a lot
As in
about
anything.
other sports.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that many excellent teams just take it easy before the playoffs.
We're not talking about before the playoffs. Your memory is so faulty, my friend. We almost blew getting into the playoffs. We had to win the last game against the Rangers to, A, make sure we got into playoffs, and B, to get home ice advantage. And we had a lot of help doing it because a lot of other teams stumbled and bubbled there at the end.
Well, they're going
like New Jersey.
They're going to beat the Penguins.
No,
okay?
but the stuff that you're saying is such a cacophony of caca that it's just unbelievable.
Well,
why can't you just accept the fact that we stunk the joint out for the last part of the season?
It was only about a month.
It was like the last third of the season, which sounds like 25 or 30 games to me. We couldn't win a game for love or money. We couldn't win a fixed game.
Well, I was never worried, okay?
Okay, I'm happy for you. See, that's one thing. When you don't know anything, you're never going to worry. That's good. That's excellent. Good point, pal. We have an open line, and like Bob Prince would say, we had them all away, baby. Open line at Dade, 751-9463, and 2 on the green lines. Like I said, the Rats cover up for a lot of lack of knowledge, okay? That's one of the other reasons, among many others. I love the Rats because they cover up for a lot of other things that aren't here yet, like understanding what's going on. We just put it into low gear, baby. We were just idling, okay? And then we put the pedal to the metal, and we said, okay, let's rock and roll, and we're doing it. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
How are you, Neil?
Great.
I want to start off by saying I'm a diehard New York Ranger fan, but I got to tip my cap to the Panthers. I mean, I really got to give them credit. It's the greatest story in sports this year. And
absolutely correct.
And if they win this series, it's one of the greatest stories in sports ever. A bunch of no-name guys that are playing like a team, and
right on the verge of the Stanley Cup Finals. This town should be having parades right now, and we got a bunch of negative clowns out there.
You know, if this was in New York, they'd be going obviously Cup crazy.
Right.
I want to ask you about the Beezer. I mean, he hasn't played like this
ever.
I mean, there were some games.
Even the year he won the Vezina Trophy in 1986, I don't think he ever played with the confidence. I don't think he ever handled the puck as well as he's doing right now. I think that shrink is what helped him out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still remember that goal that he let in by Pittsburgh that beat out the Rangers a few years ago from like the blue line or something.
Right.
So, as a Ranger fan, I know you don't like the Rangers.
Let me tell you one thing about the Beezer until all of a sudden, with about 2 months ago when he got this tremendous added confidence and came back like crazy, is that even on games that we would win, even games that he would play well, he almost always would let in one greasy goal somewhere along the line. Right. And now you're not going to see that. Just doesn't happen.
So go Panthers.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks. Open line in Broward. If I see there's a Ranger fan, he's got some enthusiasm for us. He's got some Rahmanis. He's got some understanding of what's going on. That's because he knows what it's all about. As opposed to a lot of people just talking through their ass because they don't really understand it. Anybody can talk. Talk is cheap, baby, especially on a light bulb. Here's Coral Springs. Hello. Coral Springs.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
I was just waiting for you. I need to catch up to you.
Thanks. I had to make a business call.
Okay.
Neil, 2 spy reports.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I was in New York off and on the last 2 weeks, and T-shirts abound in New York with Go Florida Panthers.
All right.
Ranger fans for Beezer.
And in Toronto, too, the Q107, which is the Maple Leafs radio station that carries the Leaf games, they've adopted the Panthers, and we're big all over the goddamn North America.
Big time in New York. Manhattan, they were selling them right in front of the Garden.
I love it.
And also the other thing is, this is inside tip, the FoxTrax, C'est la vie.
As of when?
Not too, well, I don't know if it's going to make the playoffs, the finals.
Oh.
It might.
I pray from your mouth to God's ears, man. I pray you're right.
Inside tip.
Oh, thank God.
Right from the booth yesterday.
I'm going to go right from here. I'm going right to Shul after this show. I'm going to go get on my knees.
Well, unfortunately, I happen to be the neighbor of, 2 things. You know me from Screwy's neighbor.
Right.
And also somebody from Fox.
Uh-huh.
And
not Sandy.
No.
Oh.
Somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of the guys very influential in it. and I beat him up a little bit on Monday, and he said the days are numbered.
All right.
Oh!
The best news of the day so far.
He said 3-year-olds are starting to hate it also.
I love it.
All righty, listen,
Thanks.
go Panthers and go Screwy.
And thanks for the good news.
Take care.
See ya. See, this guy hasn't talked to me for a while because I was ripping Screwy like crazy, but he deserved it. You know, he was really in a coma there for a long, long time. But all of a sudden now in the playoffs, he's like winning face-offs and he's playing like just dynamite. See, this also happened in the beginning when we got Shepard and Straka, and also earlier in the season. Earlier in the year when we got off to that big start, a lot of guys who had been playing kind of mediocre elevated their level of play because they got swept up in the euphoria of all the good stuff that was going on, and they lifted it up a couple of notches and their play too. But what am I talking about? Open line at Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD, and 2 on the green lines. Let's do a mobile in Miami Beach. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Okay.
Hey, you know, as I recall, when Panthers were going through that struggle there towards the end of the season,
yes, sir.
Didn't you keep saying it's just the same, every team goes through it and they'll come out of it?
Yes.
When everybody was panicking and saying, "Oh, what's wrong with the Panthers?"
Yes, because you can't play a whole 82-game season without going into a slump. I mean, I didn't expect it to be that long, but I wasn't having a nervous breakdown.
No, I
was hoping that we would have come out of it a little bit sooner, but better late than never, you know?
That's right. It was the time was right.
Right.
I mean, they're playing great now.
Yeah.
And something else, too. Don't you think that, you know, like Pittsburgh, you know, everybody talks about Yager and Lemieux.
Why not?
And France. Well, they're great. There's no doubt about it. But the Panthers' 4 lines are so equal in talent that you don't notice anybody outstanding. But they're all really talented lines.
Right.
You know?
Amen.
And
that's the one thing that separates us from all the rest of the teams in the league, and I do mean every one of them, is that we've got 4 equal lines out there that can do some damage, that are dangerous. And most of the other teams, I mean, you know, they got 2 top lines. The 3rd line might be pretty good, and the 4th line almost never plays.
It drops off.
Very few teams have a 4th line that gets very much ice time unless they're way ahead or they're way behind.
Right. All right, well, listen, that's all I got. Go Panthers.
Okay, pal, thanks.
Thank you.
There's a guy that's got some concept of what's going on. He's got a little grip on it. We have an open line at Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD, and 2 on the green lines. Dead in Palm Beach. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Yeah, this is Alex.
Yes, Alex.
How you doing?
Okay.
First thing, is it possible in the last game the Panthers kind of like got tired on the 3rd period?
No.
No?
Didn't look that way to me.
It didn't?
We just missed. You see, the same thing happened in that game as happened in the second game, and that is, remember the second game up there when we lost 3-2?
Right.
We had a tremendous number of great chances in the first period, and we couldn't score. We just kept missing out, and Barnes had a couple of great chances.
Right.
And
a lot of breakaways.
Right. First period ended scoreless, and when you let a great team off the hook like that, now I grant you we did have a 1-0 lead, but we had about 4 or 5 phenomenal chances to make it 2-0. Now, if it ever would have gotten 2-0 on Sunday, I guarantee you we'd have won that game. We never would have lost the lead.
No, you're right.
But, you know, when you give a lot of great chances to a team and they let them go by, it kind of lets you back in the game, and that's what happened.
Well, let me tell you, I learned about hockey back in 1974, and I lived in Montreal for 3 years, and I've been a Canadiens fan since then. But,
oh, my God.
This has definitely turned it around. I've been living here for about 5 years, and it's the greatest thing in ice hockey since.
Exactly. Those Canadians, I don't see them in the playoffs now. I don't see the Rangers in there. I don't see the Flyers in there. I certainly don't see last year's Devils even made the playoffs this year. This is a thing a lot of people don't want to understand. There's 4 teams left, and we're one of them.
It's just incredible. I think the Bees has a lot to do with it. I remember then it was Dryden, and we got a great goalie, and
yes, we do.
I just hope we can stick up as a team and win tonight.
We ought to be putting our lips right on the ice and kissing it.
All right.
Okay.
Take it easy.
Have a great day, pal.
Bye.
Thanks again, amigo, for my Italian. That was a great thing and a wonderful job, and we'll let you know next time on delivery. We got guys in the audience bring stuff by. See, this is the kind of audience that you got to admire, you got to love, you got to you know what I'm saying? Instead of like wasting your time spending a lot of gas, schlepping around the stores, trying to find what you're looking for. Again, I wasn't looking for nothing for free. I paid for it exactly what it is on the thing. I just wanted to find it. You know, when you got something in mind that you want, you're looking to find it. And sometimes you can't find it. Anyway, it's 12:44 at WIOD. It's Memorial Day Madness at Canada. That's over. That's done. Throw that out. Oh, now, what was that? Oh, no. That's yesterday's copy. Oh, there it is. They're throwing it in the wastebasket. Thank you, Annette.
A new law protects children from predators, and we're there to let you know.
Establish sex offender registries of convicted felons, sexual predators, and that the parents in a community and law enforcement have the right to know that these individuals have moved into the community.
The best news talk and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
Sally, I know this whole thing is hard on you, but honey, your mother wanted me to give you her favorite diamond ring.
Oh, Daddy, it's beautiful. I'll cherish it with all my heart. Dad, is there anything Mom wanted me to know before she passed away? You know, like, well...
You mean feminine hygiene?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. Honey, let's take a walk on our freshly moved backyard. Smells great out here, huh? And so can you, with this.
FBS? Is it good?
Well, let me tell you, your mother always used FBS, and she smelled like a field of daisies.
One moment, please. What's going on in here?
Oh.
Okay. One moment, please. Okay, here we go. Program. Hello. Hello. This is a test. What are they doing? Are they cutting back on juice in here or what now? Because we've been sold? This monitor keeps cutting out and cutting out. I can't tell if we're on the air. If we're off the air, I had to cut that off in the middle because it ain't playing on this thing. What's going on in this goddamn joint, huh? What are we doing? Going on some austerity kick the next 3 or 4 months or what? Yeah, I wondered before because the monitor kept cutting out, and I'm looking at you in there, and like you're not looking like it when the spots were playing, and it was cut in and cut out, and you're just sitting there like gabbing away with our friend there, with our Julio buddy, and that's it. So excuse me, and I have no idea what I just played, but I'm sure it was really funny if we would have heard the end of it.
It was a riot.
Okay, 1248 at WIOD. Well, we're just killing some time now, okay? This is the way they do it. Put us in limbo for 3 or 4 months. Why don't we just go on paid vacation for 3 or 4 months? That would have been good. That sounds good to me, okay? It's the least we can do. Wait till the playoffs are over, then head to Italy for a couple of months where you really learn Italian right from the horse's mouth. That's the way to do it. Here's a call from Gould's. Hello.
Neil,
Yes, sir.
first-time caller and a long-time listener.
Okay.
I have 2 questions for you. Do you know when the Panthers come in the Fort Lauderdale airport?
No, I sure don't.
You don't. Okay, and the other question I had for you, when we go for the Cup...
That would have been something, you know something, that would have been something useful for Rimmer to tell us when he called before, but of course he didn't tell us.
Okay. On the 8th, we're going to be playing the first Saturday is on the 8th for the Cup. Is that going to be an afternoon game, or would that be an evening game?
That will be an evening game.
It would be an
And before,
evening
Rimmer did say that there was a rumor Fox was going to try to make it a Sunday afternoon game, but then they don't want to do that because they don't want to do any games from, if Pittsburgh's in it, from the Igloo, and as a result, and of course CBC would never put up with that anyway because they want Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday, so it'll be a Saturday night game.
Well, that would be great because my daughter's getting married in the morning, and I'll be able to go to the game at night.
Okay.
That's great.
Sounds good to me.
I really enjoy listening to you talk about hockey. There's always room to learn more, and I've learned an awful lot from you.
Okay, thanks a lot,
I appreciate it very much.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
We have an open line in Dade, 751-9463, 751-W. So what was that thing that I was playing a second ago when it cut out?
Sally, I on you, but honey, me to give you her.
Daddy, it's beautiful.
All right. Well, listen, I wanted them to get used to it because it evidently is going to be a lot like that the next couple of months. So let's get used to a lot of technical glitches and screw-ups. And, hey, we don't care. It's Slipshod. Just keep the checks coming, and we're trying to do the best we can, but it's business as usual. Schlock. That's right. We could go in partnership with Schlocks because we know something about it. We have an open line in Dade, 751-9463, 751-WIOD, and one on the green line is in Palm Beach. Here's Coral Gables. Hello.
Hey, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how you doing, Neil?
Okay.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was humanly possible for you people to talk about anything else other than the hockey.
Well, I hate to break the news to you, pal, but I came on the air this morning and brought up a whole bunch of other things, but you know what? What we talk about all depends on what the callers have to say. So what is it you would like to discuss with us today, sir? What would you like to talk about?
I don't know.
Well, tell me what you want to talk about. We'll talk about it.
I like dogs.
Yeah.
I like monkeys.
Yeah.
I like puppets.
Well, go spank one, okay? We have an open line in Dade, 751, if you can find one, and one in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. Always, it never fails. Every one of those calls is an asshole. Oh, well, why don't you talk about something? Okay, what would you like to talk? Well, I don't know, but, well, what do you mean you don't know? Well, I don't know. That's it. That's the nature of the show. Whatever the people who call in want to talk about, as long as I'm interested in it, we'll talk about it. If I'm not, you're done. When you hear the dial tone, that means the call's over. When you hear this sound, that means go do something else. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey there. How you doing?
Okay.
I was just waiting to tell you how to say strawberry in Italian, but I waited so long it's kind of lost its funk.
No, that's okay.
It's fragola.
Fragola?
Fragola.
Fragola.
Fragola. I can tell you how we're going to kick ass tonight. It's the game, too, in Italian, if you want to know that.
Okay. I think that just means kiss my ass is what it means, isn't it? Huh? I'm not sure. Well, I wasn't taking no chances. I don't know that Dago talk yet. I bet that's on this, though. I bet that's on my new program I just got, guaranteed.
It's in there.
Yeah, it's in there, all right. We have an open line in Dade, 751, up your ass. I think that's what she said in Italian, up your ass. Nice touch, sweetheart. And we have one on the green line, 1-800-944-WIOD. Here's Coral Springs on the purple line. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Okay.
I think that guy, I think he worked for the Herald.
Probably. That was probably Greg Cote.
Yeah, I think it was. You know, I just want to share this with you. I got up this morning and I read that article. And it's
Enough, that would be enough to make me go back to bed.
I called the Herald and canceled my paper.
All right.
Oh. I think we should start a campaign.
Yeah.
And cancel. And
I've already done that. I've already been telling you people to get rid of the Herald for months now.
Well,
get rid of them.
That opened my eyes. I couldn't believe it.
The most negative. They hate hockey. They don't like anything about it. They're in bed with Mickey Arison, this damn Tony Ritter guy. They're still hawking a China about this big arena they're going to build down there in Miami, which, quite frankly, I still haven't heard another word about that.
This town has not seen anything like this
Ever.
Ever.
Right.
Well, I'm with you, and I'm with the Panthers. Go Panthers.
Okay, and tell your bird you won't bring him to Herald again.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
That's right. In fact, we're going to call the SPCA if any of you people are lining the bottom of your bird cages with a Herald. Cruelty to animals, baby. If your parrots and parakeets and cockatiels and cockatoos are dropping some really nasty, ugly-looking, more so than usual stuff, you know it's because they got the Herald down there, and they're making an editorial comment. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I think you and hockey both suck.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're listening, though, pal. You listen every day. We'll never lose you, and that's really good, okay? There's another guy. It's about the third or fourth one of those we got from the same guy. Just keep listening, man. That's all I care about. Just keep like everybody else. Keep hanging right there on the edge. See, it's just totally useless. It's meaningless. Meaningless. Because if you don't like it and you're still listening, that makes you the asshole. We have an open line in Dade, 7519463. That would be like somebody watching like three-quarters of a football game and saying, you know something, football really blows. This is really boring. Well, why don't you find something that, well, I don't know, but it's boring. Because they want a bellyache. It's like the guy that eats 90% of the steak and then calls the waiter and says, hey, I want to send this back, bring me another one. It sucked. Which is a good scam, by the way. Although you all know that down here. Here's Miami Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
No one's brought up that probably Coach McLean has done the best coaching job in any sport.
Nobody has brought that up?
Well, not on
I haven't brought that
media.
up like for the last 3 months before everybody else jumped on the back. You're wrong. Don Cherry's on there on a CBC. He's been saying for 2 months, Coach of the Year, Doug McLean.
One other
Hands
thing,
down.
Do you think he should turn Jovanowski loose? He seems to be a little quiet during the Pittsburgh series.
Well, what do you mean turn him loose? Like getting a lot of stupid penalties or something?
Line.
Like getting a lot of stupid penalties? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I think he fires up the team and the crowd sometimes. And
no, we see in the first couple of games he made some really bad plays and coughed it up and gave the puck away. We don't need any rookie mistakes. You can't afford any unnecessary penalties in the playoffs.
Okay.
Got to keep it under control.
I think I'd like to see him a little bit against Yager and Mario.
Well, I know Yager and Mario have really done a kick-ass job. How many goals have they scored between them in the series?
No, they're shutting them down.
Uh-huh. Yager got that one nice one on a pass from Mario, and Mario got the other one. Now, what else?
Well, they've done a great job defensively.
That's right, so let's stick with the winner. Right. Open line in Broward, 5249463. One on the green line. 1-800. I'm going to tell Doug McLean when he gets back into town that we got a lot of experts out there. In fact, I'll give him all your home number, and he can call you up personally and give him some coaching tips. Here's a lady in Juno Beach. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
We're live up here in Palm Beach
Well,
County.
thank God.
And I have a silly-sounding little poem for you.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we'll be scoring our fans loudly roaring because we are the cats with plenty of rats. Yeah, we will chase you, and then we'll erase you because you penguins suck. You will miss the puck. When we are prowling, our prey is a howling. But hey, is it a sin to fry some penguin? So let it be said the penguins are dead. We'll throw on more rats for our mighty cats. Go Panthers, and to Greg at the Herald, get a colonic.
Oh! All right. Nice job, sweetheart. Yeah, we got a message, by the way, for Greg Cote at the Herald, if you're listening.
As Sally Fitz would say, stick it up your ass.
We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463, 524-DEADHEADS. We have an open line in the Green Lines, 2 of them in Palm Beach, 1-800-944. Here's Davey. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Okay.
Commenting on that guy who called in, wanted to know what time the Panthers come into the airport.
Yes, sir.
They'll be in at 2:30 this morning out of Fort Lauderdale.
Right, and they come in at that other terminal there, that commercial thing, don't they?
Well, yesterday I saw them when they left. They came out of, actually they left out of the West Terminal.
Right.
Which is where U.S. Air Continental flies out of.
Right.
And they'll be back at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time this morning.
Okay.
At just for that guy's information.
And after we win 4-3 tonight, maybe we'll have a crowd there to welcome him back.
I'll tell you what, I haven't really watched hockey all this year, and I watched that first game against the Flyers, and it's got me turned on.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
thanks, pal.
Oh, go Panthers.
Thanks a lot. 2 open lines. They're both in Broward. 524-9463, 524-WIOD. So what's the story on the food when Andy's around? Do we give him, not that we have any today, but what's the story? Are we still working on that? Oh, we'll wait till he leaves the room? Okay. We'll discuss it after you leave the room, Andy. Okay, here's Miami. Hello. Miami. Going once. Going twice. Have a nice life. Open line at Dade, 751. Here's Kendall. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Okay.
First of all, I'm a religious Atkins person.
Okay.
Lost 54 pounds.
Beautiful.
Oh! And since January 5th.
Huh.
And my triglycerides have gone down from where they couldn't read them to 179.
Not bad.
Cholesterol 183. So,
Excellent.
I'm doing great with that.
Boy, that's fantastic. Sounds like I saved your life.
Yeah, I think you did.
Uh-huh.
I think you did. Blood pressure's 120/80.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Perfecto.
So I got about another 50 to go.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, but with numbers like that, you're, you're well on the way.
Yeah. And I'm never hungry. Never. I made the cheesecake the other day myself.
Right.
And it turned out great. It's a little rich for me, but it turned out great. About the Panthers.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's saying cup crazy. Well, I say, because there was one person I think that called about an hour ago, talked about that we should get rid of the rats.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we get into the Stanley Cup, why don't we start throwing supporter cups on the ice?
There you go.
And that's cup crazy.
All right.
All right, Neil.
Okay, keep up the good work, pal.
Thanks a lot.
Stick with it.
All right.
Okay, we got no...
The 1 to 2 hour.
When I tan, they call me melanoma. I tan until I'm almost in a coma. Hawaii, Miami, and they never ever use any sunscreen. Sun with me, tan with me. Hope you don't mind, I'm a little freckly.
We lie in the sun till we get melanoma. We bake like a bun, you can smell the aroma. Our lights are all on, but there's nobody home. Hey, melanoma!
I spend all day at work planning that when I get off I'll go tanning. I get naked and fake bake it. How much longer is my skin gonna take it? My astrologist and numerologist have to help me find a dermatologist.
We lie in the sun till we get melanoma. We bake like a bun, you can smell the aroma. Our lights are all on, but there's nobody home. Hey, melanoma! We lie in the sun till we get melanoma. We bake like a bun, you can smell the aroma. We got lumps on our skin bigger than the metrodoma. Hey, melanoma!
Boy!
melanoma. We got the best tan from here to Arizona. We're glad we don't have genital condyloma. Hey, melanoma!
Are you ready for some action? Ready for excitement? Ready for it right here and now? Non-stop satisfaction, here comes the main attraction. The Panthers getting ready to prowl. Oh, the crowd is cheering, can't you hear them screaming? Listen to them shout it out. Panthers on the prowl. He's on the prowl. Ready for some action, ready for excitement, ready to shout it out. The Panthers on the prowl.
Okay, 108 at WIOD. We got an open line at date, 751-9463, 751-WIOD. We're just killing a little time until 7:30 tonight at the Igloo in Pittsburgh, when we're going to go out there and hopefully kick some serious ass. And that's just the way it is. All the tickets, did you see that? They sold out in like 4.5 seconds, something like that. 3.5 minutes, whatever it was. The 3,000 tickets they put on sale yesterday. 3.5 minutes and they were gone, baby. Hotter than halava. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
I just want to say two things, or maybe three or four.
Jess?
About the Panthers. They've played like the best hockey I've seen in a long time. For a third-year expansion team, everyone in Miami should be lined up, giving away their jewelry to make gold statues of all these guys.
Amen.
And that guy
we should be lined up to kiss their ass.
Their eyes. The guy that wrote on the Herald, what's his name?
His name is Greg Cote.
He should be writing about hockey like I should be performing brain surgery.
Right.
And if they go out tonight and tomorrow, whenever it is the second game, and they lose 100-0, they're the most exciting team, professional team that South Florida has right now.
Amen.
And, I mean, just like, you know, they shouldn't be saying anything negative about this team, man. All those football idiots, this is the year, no excuses. These are, what, how many guys? Quiet guys just come out and did it.
You got it.
And someone should learn.
Okay.
Bye.
You said it well, pal. We have an open line in Broward, 524, but of course this is Miami. You know, Robert Steinbach in the same Herald today, and the same guy faxed me this as well. He's got an article which, you know, he has a lot of good points. It says fan support is strong but not deep. And basically what he's saying is that for every sport, we got a bunch of bandwagon jumpers, and when they're winning, everybody jumps on, and all they got to do is lose one game, and there's a certain segment that jumps off because they're lukewarm fans. Very good observation, Robert Steinbach, which I've been making for the last 20 years here. We got a lot of fair weather fans. We got a lot of people. But I do believe, I could be wrong, I hope I'm not, I believe that because of the nature of this team and the players and the holder, there's a certain relationship that's developed here between the real fans and this team and their players and their coach and everybody else. That's not as thin and transparent as some might think. I hope. Here's Boynton Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
First-time caller.
All right.
Just wanted to say I'm going to watch the game tonight, and I hope the Panthers win.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And
okay. We have an open line in Broward, 524, and one in the green line at 1-800-944. Okay, let's go to Miami. Hello.
Yes, Neil, first-time caller.
Great.
I have a comment about the Panthers. I am never been a hockey fan. I am a football fan, but this team has earned our respect. We should go and show our support. These idiots who only listen to football and baseball and all those, they should understand that this is the first team we've had in South Florida in a long time that doesn't care about who gets more money or the stars. They just go out and kick ass. And go Panthers, and I just want to leave you with that comment.
Okay, amigo. Open line at Dade, 751-9463. We got one in Broward, 524 WIOD. We got two on the green lines in Palm Beach, where their interest, their performance level has been, today I would say, like 40 degrees lower than usual, which is a hell of an indictment, as in minus infinity. 1-800-944-9463, 1-800-944-WIOD.
Station's been sold, you know.
I heard that.
Good news, bad news from the new owners.
Which should I ask
Well,
first?
bad news.
What's the bad news?
Bad news, we're going in for half our pay.
What's the good news?
The good news is he has a second job for us, also at half our pay.
Sorry I asked.
Rick and Suds, 6 to 10 a.m. on News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
It's not just Hank Goldberg. It's a hippopotamus.
Tonight on A Current Affair, shocking videos of the Brady Bunch's all-night Wesson oil orgies.
How about you, Cindy? Are you ready for it? Yeah.
Plus, never-before-seen episodes too racy for network television.
Mom, I'm coming. Oh, congratulations, honey. Why don't you go tell Alice the news? She's in her room.
That's tonight on A Current Affair.
114 at WIOD, so about that Aaron Summers bitch. We have an open line in Dade, 751-9463, 751-WIOD. Here's a mobile in West Palm Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Okay.
2 points I wanted to make. First off, anybody that writes anything bad about the Panthers for all the stuff that they've done this year and for all the excitement that they've brought to South Florida in general, like you say, there's a bunch of deadbeats down here. I mean, I'm in West Palm in Death Central with, the Cemetery Village up here, and I'm going crazy up here. I love them. Doug McClain is God.
Anybody that wants to pee on our parade, that's our response.
That's right. Second of all, second point, Mandich on the show last night on 7, whatever, his sports wrap-up, just a complete jerk. He can't even get the frickin' Panthers names guys right. He called him Billy Lindsley.
Lindsley, he's got a great lumber company.
Let me tell you something. He needs to go back to the construction business and stick a 2x4 up his ass, okay?
I don't believe it.
That's right, exactly. I mean, he needs to stick to the Dolphins and stuff that he knows. Lumber and the Dolphins.
Stick to something you know, Mad Dog, like taking showers with the guys. That's it.
I'll tell you, at least Defoe kind of keeps his mouth shut when it comes to talking about the Panthers. But I'll tell you what, the Mad Dog thinks he knows everything. He needs to, sit down with a book from, the little library for the first graders and learn about hockey the old-fashioned way.
Not that you have to suck.
Yeah.
He basically sucks. Neil, I went on the Atkins diet, not a big deal about it, but I started working out again. I lost the weight that I needed to. I feel great. I started working out again. I've just absolutely unbelievable. You're God. Doug McClain, you're God. Beezer's God. Stu Barnes, you're God. Love the Panthers. Go Panthers.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you, pal. There's a guy that's got some enthusiasm for crying out loud. Some of these people, when you punch up the line, you can immediately hear by the deadhead side of their voice, like that one guy a couple of hours ago, right after I talked about this Greg Cote's column in the paper. Well, the guy sounded so sour to begin with, just exactly what kind of sputum's going to be coming out of his puss. And there ain't nothing worse than sputum coming out of somebody's puss. 2 open lines on the green lines, 1-800-944-9463, 1-800-944-WIOD. Here's... Boy, you did that to me again. Here's a mobile in Perrine. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got one question.
Yeah.
What happened the last game of the season with the Panthers?
The last game of the season? The last game of the season, they beat the Rangers 6-3.
Well, since
that was the last game of the season.
Since that day, they changed the whole game.
Since what?
Since that day.
Yeah. And?
Whatever happened in that game, that's what made the Panthers the way they are right now.
You're right. You're absolutely correct. I thought you were just another one of these douchebags, but you're right.
I don't know what
That's
happened.
the game that put them over the top. That's they got the wake-up call that day. You're right.
And, Neil, don't let it lie to you about the diet. Even if I don't lose 1 more pound, my sugar levels stay the same since I started the diet.
All right.
Up, Neil.
We have an open line at Dade, 751-9463, and we got one on the green line at 1-800. What are they talking about? What language they speak? Let's take this thing back and just give me one for Swahili, okay? What language these people are speaking in Sanskrit is what they're speaking, baby. Let's call Muhammad on the purple line and find out what the hell language these people be speaking. Let's go to Hollywood. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Buenos dias.
Yes, I'd just like to say one thing.
Yes?
I'm not really a sports fan, but a couple of weeks ago I saw a Panthers game.
Yeah.
Okay, and I never was a hockey fan, but I tell you one thing, those guys play with such heart that these people who are calling you, if they had 0.1% of heart into their lives as these guys do that game,
their lives might have some meaning.
Exactly, and they wouldn't be calling you up saying that the Panthers suck or you suck or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but now that I did see that game, I mean, that's the most interesting game I've seen in a while.
I would agree with that.
I mean, the Dolphins, they're gone.
They've been in a slumber. I'm hoping Jimmy can wake them up, but they've been in a slumber for a few years now.
Well, let's put them back in the Orange Bowl and see what they can do.
No, let's wake them up with Jimmy. Let's do something.
Well, if they don't want to
well, let's worry about them when the time comes, okay? Let's stick with the program, what's going on right now. Let's take them one at a time.
The Panthers are it. That's it, and everybody else better take heart to it.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
They could all learn a good lesson, you're right.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, Shula said that, too. And you remember the comment he made after the last game he was there, which we won again, of course, and he said, boy, if I could have got my players to put out this much effort for me, I'd still be coaching. Attaboy, brainstem, right on the money.
Oh!
We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. And isn't that what I said earlier in the year about Doug McClain after the first few games? And I saw how much he was getting out of these guys. And he took basically, with a couple of additions, a couple of young players, but basically the same team. And he got like 50 times the effort out of them that Roger Nielsen had gotten. And the reason being that Doug McClain is a living and breathing guy with a sense of humor, but also a sense of understanding and knowledge, and able to impart that, and able to teach the young players, and able to get guys to go out there and work harder. And that's what it's all about, as opposed to Roger Nielsen, who was like the Walking Dead, which Roger did fit into this town pretty good, but we got tired of that. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Great.
Fellow dog lovers, you have a Goldens, haven't you?
Yes, I do.
You have two?
No.
How they doing?
Let me say it again. I have one.
One, yes.
And I have a miniature pincher.
Oh, yes.
I have a big one, and I have a little one.
I have a Golden, and I have a mixture that I got at the pound that I love.
Yeah.
Do you have any problem with their skin at all?
Do I have problem with their skin?
I mean, mine has a little skin problem.
Yeah.
I've been using the vet gave me Oxydex shampoo.
Oxydrec?
Oxydrec, whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
But it seems to be improving. So I heard something about you.
Yeah, well, with long-haired dogs, as you know, you're always going to have some skin problems, especially in this climate. They're going to have the hot spots and try to chew themselves up and stuff like that, but you do the best you can.
Right.
And then I got my dog that haircut where they cut like almost all the hair off, and
really?
he's doing great now.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, another question. About I'm interested in the Atkins diet. Now,
yes.
My cholesterol is 225. Now,
yeah,
according
not too
to the
bad.
Atkins diet, you eat everything that has fat and everything. Is that true?
Brings your cholesterol down, my friend. Mine came down.
But the Atkins diet says eat whatever you want, but it's no carbohydrates.
Very little.
But what about the fat content?
What about it?
In the diet, does it have fat in the diet?
Yes, it does.
So this would then actually...
The idea that dietary fat necessarily has to do with your cholesterol is a myth.
Uh-huh.
My cholesterol came down 25 points, and my triglycerides came down 234 points.
Oh, in other words, when you lose weight, it automatically will...
Well, sometimes. It all depends on you. It depends. There's no panacea for everybody.
Uh-huh.
But it's working for a hell of a lot of people.
Okay, one more thing in closing. How do I get on that diet? What do I have to do?
You have to buy the book.
Oh, I see.
Dr. Atkins' New Diet Revolution. It's got a blue cover. It's paperback. It's at every bookstore in the world.
Terrific.
Buy the book.
I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay, pal.
Another question before you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a sports fan. I like, and I've been watching hockey lately. Is it part of the whole setup for the guys to knock each other's teeth out? I mean, do the fans expect this violence?
I got news for you. If you want a real good job, it's never too late to learn. Team Dentist. That's where it's at. Have a great day. Okay. Open. In fact, I think the Panthers have two, if I'm not mistaken. They got two team dentists. Open line in Broward, 5249463, and one on the green line, 1-800.
Got the nerve. So you think it's easy. No big deal. Well, it's time to put your mouth where your mouth is. Neil won't like it. The IOD Amateur Hour, Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Make a tape and send it. 1401 North Bay Causeway, Miami, 33141. Neil won't like it. From News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Jim Manich, unfortunately, has a drinking problem. Yes.
Came back from Paris, there was something quite queer. I noticed that my uniforms had disappeared. Our wedding photo was smeared, and she made it quite clear to beat it. Just beat it. It was deliberate, it wasn't a prank. That she put poison gas in my
way, getting tremendous response on Mission Impossible, man. It must be one of the greatest movies ever because the calls are just pouring in on all of the shows about Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, not. I've never heard anybody say anything good about that. I had, over the weekend, I saw a few reviews on the various stations and all over the satellite, and most of them kind of said, like that. Not too great. Let's do Miami, shall we? Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Hats off to the Panthers to begin with. Wasn't a hockey fan in the past, and they've certainly made me one in the past couple of weeks. A couple of technical questions on the Atkins diet, if you will. Look through the menu, and I don't see a lot of the, I don't know if you've seen the follow-up books, but he has actually one that's all the recipes.
Right.
And I don't see ones that are realistic in preparing. I mean, if you have half a day to spend in the kitchen, I can see.
Yeah, I wouldn't, unless you're a gourmet cook or, like you said, retired and you got all day long to stand around, or unless you got a wife that you're going to keep locked up in the kitchen all day cooking for you, I would agree with that.
That's it. So what's your solution to making it a workable thing you can take to the office or take on the road with you or that kind of thing, as far as menu items are concerned?
Well, I mean, like I said to somebody before, you can go through any of the fast food like Wendy's. You can go through the drive-thru and just tell them, give me whatever without the bun, which they will do.
Primarily beef, then.
Right.
Okay, and I guess chicken works the same way.
Right.
And vegetables, salads, no pasta.
The only thing, you don't want to get chicken in the fast food joints because most of it is breaded, and it's verboten. Can't do the breaded.
Rotisserie crap.
Yeah, you can get the what?
The rotisserie.
Yeah, the rotisserie stuff's okay.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Barbecue.
Now, outside of the beef, what do you think is another staple besides chicken?
Seafood.
Seafood.
Right.
Okay.
Turkey.
Gotcha. Just no...
Omelets.
No.
Which ain't too easy to make it work, but I mean, like for breakfast.
Yep.
I mean, there really is a lot of stuff on there. The only problem I have in between is, which I've had for about the last, since I got back from vacation, is if there's carbohydrates around, cookies, candy, ice cream, any of that crap. You have to forget pasta, rice, forget it. Just have to eliminate it.
Yeah, is it effective at all to look at the labels and say, oh, it's got X% of carbo, therefore it's okay?
Yes.
Okay, so you can't do that.
In fact, don't even worry about looking on a label for sugar or for ingredients. Just look at the carbs. The only thing that is worth looking on the label, like if you're going to buy packaged meats, most of them are no good because they have nitrites and all that crap in there, so forget about most of those. You're better off going to the deli counter or getting the stuff fresh.
So the deli counters won't necessarily include the nitrites and whatnot?
Not necessarily. You can ask.
Okay.
I know a lot of the Boar's Head stuff doesn't have any.
What's the percentage you look for on the label as a percentage of carbo to be less than? Meaning 15%, 10%, 5%?
Don't look for the percent. It'll tell you per serving how much is in there.
Okay.
And the best is 0. I mean, if it says like 1 gram per serving, you're in good shape.
Okay. One more question on this wonderful buyout you've had with Cox. I guess they're going to split up you and Hendry for sure. No question about that.
Right.
And they're going to expect, I guess, the results they've had in the past, and obviously what Mr. Paxson based his purchase power on, ratings. So that'll diminish if you split those two. Would you agree with that?
I don't know what they really have in mind. I really can't tell you because I have no idea what they're going to put on in the afternoon. There's all kinds of rumors about who's going to be on AM and is somebody going to FM. At this stage, we're like as much in the dark as you are.
Well, their morning business review, I guess, says they're going to try to sequester you to a great degree and probably get rid of the sex show at night and do a bunch of moralistic type things.
Moralistic type?
If you will.
That'll be a switch.
Yes, it will.
Okay, good luck.
For the ratings.
Good luck to us. Okay. Moralistic. Yeah, we're going to have maybe a preacher on there. How do you like that? Hallelujah! Oh, and speaking of preachers and put your hands on, depending on where you're putting them on, you notice HBO is on this great kick now where they got like a whole bunch of movies on there about child molesting priests and the Roman Catholic Church, as in...
Father O'Toole, God.
Which, isn't that kind of interesting? I guess they're only isolated incidents, a few thousand here, a few thousand of them over there. Pretty isolated. Let's go to Davey on the purple line. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Okay.
First off, I want to thank you very much for turning me on to hockey 3 years ago.
Yes,
it's
sir.
the best thing in my life, and it's just the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
And then second of all, I want to warn everybody down there. I don't know if you heard, but Sunday I went down to the arena and I purchased myself a couple nosebleed seats for $200.
Right.
And they turned out to be bogus.
Nice. How do you like that?
They were fake.
Little counterfeit ticket action there.
Little counterfeit fiction. So
so you got ripped off? You just...
I got the shaft, Neil.
Oh my God. Unbelievable.
I didn't mind spending my $200. I was like dying to see the game, but sent my money in, got shafted.
How did they know which tickets were bogus?
Well, evidently there was about 40 or 50 of us that had the same seats. So.
No, but I mean, how do they know which pair were right?
I don't know. I mean, I kept on asking them that, and I go, well, this looks great. Like, what's wrong with it? And they're going, oh no, it's terrible. And I go, well, bring a real one so I can see it, so I can see the difference. No, we don't need to. We know. And then the nice lady down there, she goes, well, you shouldn't buy tickets out there from scalpers. And I go, lady, I stood in line. I was number 9. I couldn't get tickets. How else am I supposed to get them?
Yeah.
She goes, well, next time buy season tickets.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as I get rich like Neil.
There you go. Okay, but don't do it again, pal.
I'll try not to, Neil.
Okay, good luck.
Just let them know. Thanks.
Okay. There you go. You better beware of not only scalpers, but scalpers that are selling counterfeit, bogus tickets. And, of course, you're going to ask me, well, how do I know if they're real or not? And I'm going to tell you, good question. We have 2 open lines in Dade, 751-9463.
Unbelievable.
751 WIOD. Isn't that something? How'd you like to, fork over $400 for a couple of tickets and then go inside and find out, well, guess what? You don't have any tickets and you're out $400. Of course, it is a neighborhood where it's quite common to hear the sounds of gunfire, so I guess nobody would think anything out of the ordinary if you find the guys that sold you the tickets. Here's Aventura. Hello. Aventura.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm a hockey fan who's in a no-lose situation.
Yeah.
I got the best of both worlds. Whoever goes to the finals, I could root for. I'm from Pittsburgh, obviously.
Right.
And being from Pittsburgh, the only tie that keeps me with him is the Lemieux factor.
Mm-hmm.
He was with the team when I first moved to Florida.
Right.
That's what keeps my allegiance there. I think it's a shame that a person like you that has done as much as you have to promote the game of hockey and get the interest and the juices flowing isn't at that game tonight.
Oh, I agree.
I can't believe
this to me is so Bush League that it just defies description.
Even if your company that you work for didn't make provisions to have you there, Heisinger should have had you there.
Oh, yeah.
There's no appreciation for you.
Hold your breath for that.
There is no appreciation. I go back to the Hornets, Frank Mathers, Danny Lewicki.
Right.
And the Pittsburgh roots are there. One thing I'd like the fans of Florida to know, they should be very proud of this team. And just remember one thing, when you do get a Lemieux or a Lindros or a Messier, you'll love it. I mean, these guys that you hate on other teams, you would love if they were on your
you better believe it.
And thanks, Neil.
Okay. We have an open line in Broward, 5249463. We got 2 in Dade, 2 as in, what was that?
Nothing. It certainly wasn't Phil Hendry screaming explicatives really loudly.
Was that Phil Hendry in there?
Yeah, but let me say something
later. 751 WIOD. He's losing it, man. I can't say that I blame him because this situation really sucks, okay? I mean, it's one thing I said this the other day and I'll say it again. And it's not going to change anything. I'm just expressing everybody's frustration collectively. It's one thing to be in limbo like for a couple of days, a couple of hours, but to be in limbo for 3 or 4 months. And it's just like this guy talking about them sending me to Pittsburgh. Does anybody really believe that Cox is going to fork out money to buy me a plane ticket and say, hey, take the day off, and, we got no business on the log today anyway. It looks like we're going out of business altogether. I could have cut the spots for today like in 5 minutes. And we could have got all the business on there, which is all anybody really cares about anyway. Get the spots on air, let's collect the revenue, and that's all they would have cared about. We could have gone up there last night, had a great show today. I mean, talking to some real people up there, getting some real information out as opposed to Rimmer calling in, telling us funny stories about Doug McClain and him again. And it would have been great. And then could have gone to that game tonight and rooted for the Panthers and taken my life in my hands and had one hell of a day. Instead, it's like we're caught. We're like in purgatory, man. We're like between a great place and a dark place. And we're not sure which is which. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Yes, hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing? My name is Mike. I'm new to the game of hockey, and it's due to you. And I wanted to ask you 2 questions because I'm not sure quite where to start. With the Panthers going to the new arena and everything, for next year, for season tickets.
But they're not going to the new arena next year.
Well, they're going to be there, in 2-3 years?
We got 2 more years, 2 more seasons in the old arena, and then 98, 99 in the new arena.
Okay. Well, then in the case of getting season tickets for next year's season.
Right.
Who do you contact, and what are your chances of getting good seats of that, for next year?
The chances are slim, based on all the interest I see now. But I mean, there are season tickets still out there. But you got to call that 1-800-GO-PANTH, PANTH, But there is going to be one sticking point with this whole thing, and that is when they moved from the present arena to the new one, just like when the Dolphins moved from the Orange Bowl to Joe Robbie.
Right.
I don't really know how they go about making the switch over. Do you know what I'm saying? In other words, they always tell you that they're going to give you comparable seats. But I know that, and of course, in this situation, you're going to have like 6,000 more seats in the new arena than in the old one, so it should be no problem. But I know many people who had been season Dolphin ticket holders for years in the Orange Bowl who were told all the good stuff, and they moved to Joe Robbie Stadium, and they wound up getting really crappy seats. So that's something, I don't know how they're going to work it out.
Well, how soon can you call up that number and get season tickets for next year?
Right now.
Really?
Well, maybe not right now, but I know it's this week because Rimmer was showing me the order form. I know they went out for this. But I think you can at least call that number and find out what day it is. But I know it's sometime this week.
And that's 1-800-GO-PANTH?
P-A-N-T-H.
P-A-N-T-H. All right, thanks a lot, Neil.
Okay, pal, good luck.
You're doing great.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a big run. I mean, we had 9,500, 9,600. We had over 9,000 season ticket holders this year, and I have a feeling it's going to be over 10 or 11 come next season because now everybody and their brother is jumping on the bandwagon. The Panthers have become a very in and very chic and very exciting thing, and this is where it's at, which is great because now we got to build more additional fan interest in these next two seasons so that come when we do get the new arena in Sunrise by my house, we'll be able to fill up that joint every night with 20,000 seats. Here's Boca. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, Boca. First-time caller, I think. I'm a breather in Boca.
Okay.
And let's see, I love your show, etc. I wanted to call you earlier, but after the first game of the Panthers, I'm watching it. The score's still 0-0. I'm already screaming and yelling.
Right.
And my daughter, who is in second grade, she says, Dad, just calm down. I said, why? I said, why? She said, well, the Panthers are going to win. I said, well, how do you know that? This is a message for all those disbelievers and also maybe uplifting for you. She says, because cats eat birds.
There you go.
There you go.
Rest my case.
I got.
Okay.
I love your show.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Okay, we have an open line today. The best news we heard all day today from a guy that alleges to know that lives right in the neighborhood, and I know that guy, so I don't think he's telling any tales, lives near one of the Fox executives, one of the Fox hotshots. The glowing puck, the FoxTrax, the whatever the hell you call it, it's going, baby.
Oh!
May not be going before the playoffs are over, but it's on the way out. It's c'est la vie, as he said. It's history. Thank God. Thank the Lord. I'm going to say a bracha right now, baby. 20 before 2 at WIOD, Standard Brands and Mitsubishi have teamed up to say no down payment, no payments, no interest, and no accrued interest for 15 months on Mitsubishi with approved credit. That's right, Standard Brands and Mitsubishi say no. So hurry into Standard Brands right now and pay nothing for 15 months on any Mitsubishi TV, big screen, the new 40-inch big tube, any and all Mitsubishi electronics. No down payment, no payments, no interest, and absolutely no accrued interest for 15 months with approved credit. Head into summer with the Mitsubishi electronics you want and pay nothing for them for over 1 full year. Nothing for 15 months. Standard Brands and Mitsubishi just say no, just like Nancy would have you say. In Fort Lauderdale, you'll find a Standard Brands on Federal Highway just north of Oakland Park Boulevard. In Pompano on Atlantic, quarter-mile west of I-95. In Coral Springs on University Drive just north of Atlantic. And in Pembroke Pines on Pines Boulevard just west of Palm Avenue. In fact, if Reagan could remember, he'd know that Nancy used to say no a lot. Nobody, nowhere, no how beats a Standard Brands deal.
At 610 WIOD, we talk a lot about the Dolphins, but this week, they'll have to wait. Big burly guys smacking each other and slapping a little puck around get the spotlight in the quest for Lord Stanley's Cup. The best Panther coverage is right here on News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.
142 at WIOD. We have an open line in Dade, 751. Boca Brian, if you're listening, you'll be pleased to know that Mitch Ween is going to swap our CD player, so one of these days we can play some of the cuts from your great CD. That's right. Boca Brian needs us to be playing that stuff and promoting it around. He's not going to make any money from that. Boca Brian, just relax, okay, Pally? You're okay. You're a part of the deal, okay? Wherever we're going, you're going too. Believe you me, you'll be there, burning like... Here's Miami's gone. Miami's gone, George. Here's a lady in Coral Springs. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Neil, I was going to the games all year when there was, nobody there, and now...
Now, let's not say there was nobody there.
You
when
were
there was
there,
3,000 empty seats in many of the games, yes.
Yeah, and then they used to leave, 50 minutes before the game was over, which was cool.
Come in the middle of the first period, leave early in the third period. We got a lot of those people.
Yeah. I see you, so you're always there.
I'm there.
But, now, everybody's Panther crazy.
Yep.
And, I tell people I've been there, done that. I was there when it was freezing out. I was there when no one was there. And now, all of a sudden, everybody likes hockey. Everybody's into, into the Panthers. But you know what? If it was football season now, they wouldn't be such big hockey fans.
I don't agree with that.
How come?
Because because they're winning, because it's a big thing.
Yeah, but
they're bandwagon jumpers. They want to grab onto anything that's going on.
Okay, and so what happens if they lose? Are they still going to be like, go hockey, or is it going to be on to the next thing?
That remains to be seen. I can't answer the question.
Well, I'm the wife
The real fans will still be fans, more so than ever, and some of the bandwagon jumpers will stay on because they realized how great it was. And then the real phonies, the real synthetic people that are just transparent as a pane of glass, they'll be hopping off.
I mean, it's incredible. I drive down the street, and they have it written all over their cars, Go Panthers. And I'm like, I used to tell my friends, I'm going to the game tonight, and they're going, why? Why are you going to a game?
Yeah.
What's the point? It's a lot of money. What are you doing
it's just
there?
it's like the IOD seats. We have those 6 seats there, 2 of which are mine in that row. And many a game this season, the other 4 IOD seats sat there empty, sat there very vacant. Nobody in this place wanted them. Nobody was using them, and they just sat there.
And here, they're selling phony tickets, and that's right. There was many a nights there that half the place was empty.
Right.
And
now you keep saying that, but we've never had a crowd of less than 11,000 and some.
Well, yeah. Well,
so we've had 2,000 and 3,000 empty seats for a whole bunch of games, but we never had that bad.
Right. You're right. Just 2.
We're not Hartford or Ottawa.
Right. That's right. Well, anyways, I'm a Panther fan, and I think they're going to go all the way, and I'm excited. And women like hockey also.
They sure do.
That's right.
Okay, sweetheart.
Bye-bye.
See you Thursday.
Take care.
Okay, we have an open line today at 751 WIOD. We got one in Broward, 5249463.
There's a dream that lives deep in every heart. Heroes carve their name, legends leave their mark, and it's worth the sweat, and it's worth the pain, 'cause the chance may never come again. Give it all you got, and take your best shot. The Father's deep inside, stand among the giants. Yeah, for the game belongs to the swift and the strong. Though the flame burns bright, in an instant it's gone. It's the spirit of the game, and the legend lives on and on. But the chance may never come again. Oh no, the chance may never come again.
Kravchuk stopped that shot in along the ice, cleared it the length of the ice as he crossed center. The two teams changing, and as Fetisov dropped it back. Gretzky picked it up, couldn't find it. Yzerman is turning and coming in. Another shot, score! Yzerman scores! Detroit wins the game. Detroit wins the series, and they go on. This is over.
How about that Detroit? In fact, I hope just to piss off Greg Cote that it's the Panthers and the Red Wings in the finals now. You know what I'm saying? Just so that he's wrong on both counts, Mr. Expert, Mr. Hotshot in the Herald there, dot the I. Boy, what a sour, what a negative, and for no reason. I mean, it's one thing. There are a lot of things you can criticize in this town. I mean, does anybody know that better than I do? But just to be negative for the hell of it, like he did in that column this morning. I mean, this man, if we don't have 50,000 people cancel the Herald today, I don't know what day they'll do it on, when they'll ever come to their senses. What a piece of dreck. What an absolute piece of garbage. And by the way, when's Ike Seaman's going to come on Channel 6 and give us the story about the finalization of the Miami Arena for the Heat? I thought that was supposed to have been done already, wasn't it, before the end of May, which today looks like the 28th to me? I haven't heard no story on that. Have you? Mr. Carroyo, maybe he's going to come up with the money personal. Maybe somebody's going to go out there. Maybe somebody in Miami's got some good drugs they can peddle. and come up with all the millions they need to build that new arena down there by the water, right by the port, right by Mr. Arison's thing. We're still waiting on that, Ike. Here's Miami. Hello.
Yeah, when Phil Henry leaves, is Steve Kane going to take his place?
I sure have no idea.
That damn Joyce Kaufman bitch.
You sound like a light bulb listener to me. Yeah, exactly. In fact, you sound like somebody working at the light bulb is what it sounds like to me. Probably, boy, they're really peeing in their pants over there. Let me say it again. We don't accept calls from the light bulb, from listeners, from employees, from relatives, from boyfriends, girlfriends, some we can't identify, from Pat. We're not interested. So this attempt of them to suddenly like intrude on the good thing that we got going over here, trust me when I tell you we will continue to go our separate ways. Just like we got the Coast down the hallway here, we got Hot 105 down the end of the hall, and we all operate like our own entity here. We don't go in there and interact with, we don't run in the middle of Johnny Dark show and start screaming douchebag on the Coast. They might have some numbers if we did, but we don't do that. And so one of the things that the light bulb people better understand immediately, if not sooner, and I can only speak for myself, not anybody else, is that we will not be interacting. Got it? Not interacting. Interfacing, interacting, doing anything. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Yeah, Neil?
Yes, sir.
What happened to Wooly in this series? I mean,
he's not playing.
Yeah, is he injured?
No, he's not. He's the odd man out.
Because he seemed to be like one of the important guys on the point for us.
No, I think he played a couple of pretty crappy games there, and he's out.
He's out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who, now, wait a minute. Let me ask you this. On defense, who would you have out? If you wanted to put him back in there, who would you take out?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I know our power play hasn't been, like, really clicking, and he seems when he's on the power play at the point.
Yeah, but you know something? Defensively, you can't afford the mistakes, and it seems to me, I mean, Wooly, when he was playing great, he had that period there for a while. He was just unconscious. But then he just started making a lot of lapses defensively, and they just can't afford to do that.
That's true. I do understand that. And what Fox needs to do is bring back Peter Puck.
I agree.
That's what they need to do.
I agree with that. I mean, if they want to teach the fans how to watch the game, if they want to put something on there to give us I couldn't agree with you more. Why don't they do that instead of trying to turn the game into a video game?
Exactly.
Amen.
Thanks.
Thanks, pal.
Bye.
Okay, and also thanks to our friends at San Pellegrino. We got some water over there. That's a beautiful thing. Man, I feel like I got my Italian thing over here, my program for my computer. I'm going to go home and learn Italian in 5 minutes. I'm going to, Marron, whatever that is. What did I say, Marron? Yeah, Jimmy Marron. I'm telling you, you bet on him and you say, oh, my God. I'm going to be talking fluent Italiano like you wouldn't believe. And we got San Pellegrino water, so I'll be like tapping on it and drinking it at the same time. Let's go to a lady in Boynton Beach. Hello.
Boynton Beach?
That's you.
Neil. Hello, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
I definitely have panther goosebumps today. I am so nervous.
Are you?
You help a lot. Jolene helps a lot. What a song.
Yeah, I got to get that song out. I'm glad you mentioned that.
It was like all set in my mind all yesterday. You know how a song will go over and over in your mind?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, go Panthers. I just want them to win tonight so much.
Well, cross your fingers and your legs, sweetheart.
Thank you, Neil.
Okay, and maybe your eyes, too. It couldn't hurt. Do a little Karen Black number there.
We love you, Panthers. Oh, yes, we do. The way you skate and score and follow through.
Oh!
Bring on Yager and Lemieux. Oh, Panthers, we love you.
Oh!
We love you, Screwdland. Oh, yes, we do.
Yes!
Even when you took that double two for slicing Brenda Moore clean through. Oh, Screwy, we love you.
Oh!
We love you, Mallenby. You're where it's at. You made the season year of the rat. You are my very favorite cat. Scott Mallenby, where it's at.
Yes.
We love you, Niedermeyer. You've really bloomed like a flower in a sunny room.
Oh.
You're gonna score again real soon. Rob Niedermeyer, we love you.
Incredible.
We love you, Beaver. Oh, yes, we do. With your mighty pads and glove hand, too. We'll give the credit where it's due. Van Beesbrook, we love you, Lindsay. Oh, yes, we do. The way you beat Ray Bork and Ranford, too.
Yes!
That short-handed goal was cool. Bill Lindsay, we love you.
Oh!
We love you, Doug McClain. Oh, yes, we do. You'll be Coach of the Year because it's true.
Unbelievable.
You brought us all this way. Who knew? Oh, Panthers, we love you.
Oh! Unbelievable.
Okay, 154 at WIOD, Jolynn. She's the best. In fact, she said she was going in the studio, putting some music behind that, and recording like one big gigantic with all the names, with the whole thing unencumbered and unabridged and et cetera, whatever. And we're waiting on it. Okay, here's Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hi, this is Marco. Can I talk to Neil, please?
Speaking.
Neil, I'm in the import business, and I got...
You're in the what business?
Import. And I would like to know if you would like to trade some of those Fidel's Finest for a couple of Panthers tickets.
What's the question again? Would I like to what?
Fidel's Finest, the cigar. Okay.
In exchange for what?
A couple of tickets. No.
Okay, we have an open line in Dade, 751-9463, 751-WIOD. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you listen to this sound? This sort of like Martian sound. Do you hear it?
A Martian sound?
Yeah, you know when in the olden days those movies where the Martians were landing and they'd have that whining sound?
Right.
Can you hear it?
No.
It's kind of hard.
What is it?
And, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
It's here on 32nd and South 60 Highway.
The Martians are landing on where? South of what?
South 60 Highway and 32nd
Oh, yeah.
Avenue.
Well, I knew if they ever came, that'd be where they would go.
Where Hyde Park is.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
Walgreens. It's the weirdest thing. It's been going on for a month and a half, and I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
That's not what I called it out. I called about the Atkins.
Uh-huh.
Once again, I got a question for you. I've got a Tic Tac box in front of me.
Yeah.
The ingredients say...
Too much carbs in those, by the way, I think. No, as a matter of fact, they have zero carbs. You're right.
Zero carbs,
You're
no
right.
sugar, but the ingredients say sugar.
Don't worry about it. Let me say it again. Forget about reading it. If it says zero carbs, then when in doubt, check them out.
Okay. But I've already lost 30 pounds on it anyway. This is just like...
No, but that's a good idea. That's an excellent idea. For example, when I go to the airport, if I'm on my best behavior, which lately I haven't been, but if I am... And you go in the little thing to get your newspaper and your magazines, and instead of getting a candy bar or something to eat while you're waiting for the plane, you get some Tic Tacs because they got zero carbs. You're right.
Now, what about Breath Assure? I have not tried that. Do you know anything about them? Zero? Got to check it out, huh?
Breath Assure?
Yeah. Well, you advertise it all the time, and I
But
figured
those are like little capsules. Those wouldn't have any carbs in them.
Well, that's what I want to figure out.
Those are like garlic things.
And parsley.
Garlic, parsley, and rosemary, and Simon and Garfunkel. Right.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay, keep it up, sweetheart.
Thanks.
Okay. What'd she say? Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Long time ago, you had a cut that you played, and somehow it got lost. It was called the Clinton. Would you be interested in getting it back?
It didn't get lost. You mean Do the Clinton?
That's correct.
It didn't get lost.
Okay. George has been looking for it for a long time for me, and I finally got it out of California.
Well, wait a minute. Before you go, are you sure that we lost that, George?
We didn't lose it.
And the reason I like it, it's long. It's like 4 minutes long. I know we got it in
I think
here.
we might be talking about two different things.
Well, why? What's it called? What's he talking about? I don't know. What am I supposed to say, George? I don't know what you're talking about. Do the Clinton, right? That's what it's called.
We have that.
We got it.
Oh, okay. Because George...